quite a while. His 8th game for the campaign. Our referees at G, our touch officials, Nick Pelgrave and Matt Noyen. Ashley Klein in the bunker. Your text are welcome, 0467 920 222. As we get the final game of round 22 underway. The Sharks and the Cowboys. Let's go here at the Shire. Ref at MG gets us underway, and there is the kickoff. Ronaldo have first use running out of that southern end of Shark Park with big splotchy patches and puddles of muddy turf here at their home venue. Sharks on the attack. Fonua-Blake hit up, plays it out of Brayley, comes left-hand side of the park, and there is on that left edge here through CSC Patelikai. He's also back in the team this week, back from illness. Teague Wilton up to the 30, 20 in from the western side, inside the first 30 seconds here. Brayley across to McInnes, and the captain runs up Main Street here, gains about 8 metres, and he's claimed there by Harry Edwards, and also in there was Cohen Hess. Right-hand side, they shift it now. The Sharks through Kafusi, player on the 40. Brayley comes blindside right to Hines, into the set. His kick travels downfield onto the chest of Scott Drinkwater, and he has it cleanly here. 15 out from his own line at northern end, and he's eventually claimed 25 out centre field. So here's the Cowboys' first set of the game as Dearden at dummy half swings it back open side right, and claimed down near is Nene on that right edge. Dearden doing dummy half passing again, coming open side left, and this time Tuckwood ball and all out there is with a labour, and now it comes up to the 40-metre line here. The Cowboys played here in muddy conditions. Robson back to Cohen Hess, and this is the last play coming up here for the Cows. 5 short of halfway. Sharks nil, Cowboys nil here at Shark Park. Dearden's kick on that final play onto the chest of Will Kennedy, and he takes it 10 out from his own line at Southern. And let's head downstairs. MC on the touchline.
Yeah, I know you said it wasn't raining too hard earlier, Spiggy. It must be foggy in the box. It is belting down at the moment, and there's a fair bit of breeze behind the backs of the Cronulla Sharks. So let's see if they can utilise it now after receiving the first penalty.
Yeah, penalty for a high shot there on Sione Katoa. So the first penalty of the game goes the way of the Sharks. Dean Hallertau, 2 minutes played. Cronulla Sutherland nil, North Queensland nil.
Yeah, pretty conservative start from both teams, as you'd expect. Fairly one out in terms of rucking the ball out of their own end and just getting through the set to a kick. But this penalty here, as the Sharks are bringing it out of their own end, will certainly help them. We'll see their first shot at good ball.
If you just joined us earlier, West Tigers 28, Canterbury Bankstown 14. A massive upset there at Western Sydney Stadium. That's what gives, I think, the Cowboys some belief here in their fans as they tap on the eastern side here, the Sharks. So they get 35 out from that northern line. Played by McInnes. Dummy half Brayley across to Trindle. Inside ball now Oregon Kafusi. And he's claimed now 28 metres out, left-hand side of the post. Brayley here on the play for. He comes back on the inside of Teague Wilton, and he's in the 3-man tackle. Hess comes in hard, so too Harrison Edwards. 20 out, 20 in from the western side. Dummy half Brayley. Open side right now Trindle. Back on the inside Adam Fonua-Blake, and he steps into the tackle there of Griffin Neame, who'll play it 15 out over then here at Shark Park. This is last play of the Sharks. Brayley swings it back left-hand side now. Trindle to Kennedy. It's a big pass out here to Mulitalo. Deflected down to him. It's 6 more the Sharks as it came off the Cowboys line. So Mulitalo tackled now even that northwestern corner. 7 metres shy of that northern line. Brayley, open side right. Trindle on here to Kafusi, and he's tackled 8 metres out left-hand side of the uprights. 3.5 played, no score. Sharks Cowboys here on ABC Sport. And Fonua-Blake hits that line at speed, and he's stopped 2 metres shy here, barely. Left-hand side of the post. Brayley off to Hines. A running start. Now the inside ball coming back here towards his second rower in Britton Nickera. Now Brayley from dummy half goes from the toe. There's a pass there for Trindle. We can plant the footy and scores the first try of the game. Sharks 4, Cowboys nil. Kick to come Cronulla. 4 minutes played first half, ABC Sport.
Yeah, well, off the top, Spriggy, you mentioned the 2 number 9s for both teams, and the Sharks' Blake Brayley's been in career best form, particularly this last 6 weeks. He sees a quick play, the ball loose around the ruck. The Cowboys defensively, some big power running from the Sharks' middles. He pops out. There's not much pressure coming and out of place. I think it was Scott Drinkwater was stuck around the post trying to sort of cover things, but well recognised by Brayley that the space, I should say, in behind the line, just dabs it through and composed, put down there from Trindle.
Was that by Michael Carianis?
Yeah, nice bit of work there from Blake Brayley. The Sharks were lucky to get away with an error in the play the book before. In that last play, I thought it was just spilled at the ruck there, but obviously missed by the on-field officials and allowed to play on. And Blake Brayley, nice bit of eyes up footy, and we saw what the Cronulla Sharks are going to do here. There's going to be lots of underplays and try and get their big man in the middle of the field, because can't play too much expensive football in this weather.
Which end of the ground's worse, do you reckon, MC? North or south?
I don't know which side's which.
Big puddles to the right-hand side, the southern end. That's that one, by the way. There's this massive big puddles at that end of the ground, and it's not too flashy in either, especially in the middle of the ground. We saw 18 all the New South Wales Cup between Newtown and Canterbury. Here's Nicho Hines, by the way. He's 17 out, 20 in from the western side at our end of the ground, and he makes no mistake here. 2 more points, Cronulla Sutherland 6, North Queensland Cowboys 0. 5.5 gone in this first half on ABC Sport. Around the grounds, NRLW Magic Round in Newcastle, Bridget Murphy.
G'day, Spriggy. Still 0-0 here between the Parramatta Eels and St George Illawarra Dragons, but the Eels are playing a lot of attacking pressure within the 10 metres and hoping to go for a try soon, but Dragons, some desperate defence.
Thanks, Bridge. In New South Wales Cup second half, North Sydney 26, Newcastle 8, AFL fourth quarter, St Kilda 71, North Melbourne 63, and in the second quarter, Geelong 37, leads Port Adelaide 23. Keep your text coming, 0467 920 222. Sharks 6-0 here. A try through Braden Trindle in those first 4 minutes. Sharks get the footy back from the kick-off here. Played by Kafusi, 15 out from his own line. Here's Talakai through centre field. And 4 Cowboys envelop him. 25 out from his own line. Brayley swings it across here to the right-hand side. McInnes gains half a dozen. Taken down low by Cotter. Up top by Nee. Now it's going to be lost by Cam McInnes as he was getting up to play it. So an error for the Sharks. Good possession back to the North Queensland Cowboys, 30 out from that southern or right-hand side of the ground.
Yeah, well, Cam McInnes is not protesting there, and he's a leader, and he didn't want to take captain challenge. It was a bit messy as he was getting up and probably just didn't control the ball well enough. So now the Cowboys will get an opportunity. We haven't seen them yet attack the Sharks line, who will get their defence tested.
Off the SMS, Peeves loving the call, joining from Emerald, Queensland, while working on my 92 Subaru Brumby in the shed. Ooh, fantastic, Peeps. Ron at Foster, just wondering if the ABC Listen app was crashed, but I can't hear you on the phone. I don't think there's an issue there, Ron, but look into it. Thank you for your text, 0467 920 222. Listening on the ABC Listen app, let us know if it's all good where you are. 35 out from that southern line. Cowboys on the attack there. First good look of the game, and tackled down there is Braden Burns, the winger, plays it to Robson. Comes open side right, Dearden on here to Bateman, and the Englishman has claimed 25 out, 10 in from the western side. Sharks 6, North Queensland 0 here, 7 gone first half, as it comes back to Dearden. Inside ball, Cohen Hess, and a probing run here where he gains a few more, about 15 out from that southern line. Flat ball from dummy half ends up with Laybutton. Now Cotter backs his way into Kafusi, driven back there by Fonua-Blake and Nicho Hines as well. 12 out here from that southern line. Robson, Laybutt been lost by Nane, so a Cowboys error, and that will give possession back to the Sharks deep in their own end, and the home side leads here 6-0 after 8 minutes on ABC Sport in this first half. MC on the touchline.
Yeah, well, the conditions have eased right now, but obviously we're going to see lots of that. The ball just slipping out in contact because it is super slippery out there. The players have to make sure that there's not going to be anything expansive whatsoever. We see the mud patch as well, where Sione Katoa just played that ball. It's really muddy down at that end of the field.
Very much so. We've seen worse conditions here, but as I said earlier in the preview, this just feels like one of those grounds that gets hammered by inclement weather. Here's CSF at Talakai. Gains a quick dozen here. 25 out from his own line. Played to Brayley. Oh, Nanai nails McInnes, but the pass put away. Off to the centres there in Jesse Ramian. He feeds it back on the inside to Nicola, and he's tackled 35 out from the Cowboys line. So a great break there for the Sharks, who lead 6-0. Dummy half Brayley. Off to Hines. Wobbles it back on the inside to Fonua-Blake. And Fonua-Blake has tackled 25 out centre field. This is last play for the Sharks. Brayley back to Nicho Hines. He kicks to that northeastern corner. Back with the flight there. Burns in the contest with Ramian. It's come off Jesse Ramian. So it will be a Cowboys ball via a play the ball 10 metres out from their own line at northern end. 8.5 played here at at Shark Park, and Sutherland 6, North Queensland 0.
So I'll tell you what we got there was a little bit of a look at Jeremiah Nanai in the centres for the Cowboys. He comes rushing in to put pressure on McInnes, who gets a nice ball away. It really opens up the right side for the Sharks. So he's going to have to temper himself there in his structure, Jeremiah.
And here go the Cowboys, trying to jig his way through centre field there. A bit of a run is Braden Burns. So Braden Burns and, I suppose Billy Burns is now 18th man for the Sharks, in case you missed that. But Tom Hazelton is a big in for them. First game since round 10, back from a club injury. So his name in the meantime for the Cowboys. Last play as it's fed out to Jackson Purdue. His kick will land 25 out there. Braden Burns was running through. It's going to be still the last now for the Cowboys. Edwards, a very honey jersey, throws it past about a kilometre forward. And that will result in the ball coming back to the Sharks, 25 out from their own line, southern end.
Yeah, again, you mentioned it before, we're going to see errors and trying to throw passes or lengthy passes in this kind of weather. It's going to be difficult, but they're throwing the ball around, at least trying to play some positive footy.
There'll be a few errors from me too, because the muddy these jerseys get, you can't see the numbers, but I think most of these players by sight, so that's okay. McInnes receives the footy there from Riley, 35 out from that southern end. The Sharks lead 6-0, by the way. Just joined us. Trindle scored the first try of the game. And Nico Hines with the conversion. 8 short of halfway. Played by Mulitalo. Brayley with a pass to his left here for Oregon Kafusi. And he's tackled just inside North Queensland territory. 20 in from the western side. Brayley back here to Trindle. And now Fonua-Blake's busy up that middle part of the ground here. 35 out from that northern line. Last play. Now it's 6 more. In fact, as there was interference in the ruck from Reece Robson. So a set restart for the Sharks. Wilton goes powering into that right edge defence there of the North Queensland Cowboys, who'll play it 28 out from that northern line. Now Mulitalo takes on Hess, put down there by Hess, Edwards and also Dearden. The winger plays it there for Brayley. Sharks lead 6-0 there at Shark Park. Adding Fonua-Blake off to McInnes, and he's put down 10 metres out centre field now for the home side. A couple of plays left here in the set, 11 going first half. Brayley back to Trindle, inside ball Wilton, taken there by Bateman. This will be second last play here, 7 metres out from that northern line. Back to Trindle, and now McInnes receives it in low, not quite there. Tackled by Cotter and also Robson, in fact Drinkwater as well. Metre out from that northern line. Last play the Sharks, 6-0 to lead. Trindle kicks and chases, and Drinkwater just guards it dead. It'll be a restart from 20 and 7 tackles here for the North Queensland Cowboys. Back in possession. 6-0 is the Sharks lead. 12 gone first half. MC on the touchline.
Yeah, he's got to be better than that, Braden Trindle. They had a bit of weight there on that kick, way too much, because they'll build in some pressure to Cronulla Sharks. They actually look really good with the footy, despite the conditions. They're chancing their arm a little bit, making plenty of metres against the Cowboys.
Luca says, listen up, all gravy, baby. Good on you, Luca. Might be an issue where you are, Mick, with internet or something, but I think everyone's okay. So we'll keep an eye on that for you anyway. Here's Edwards for the Cowboys up over halfway. So we'll start at the set here for the North Queensland Cowboys. Robson to Dearden. He gets nailed there by Teague Wilton. Offloads here back to Harrison Edwards and now Purdue. And now it's been lost by Cotter out to the side. So it's picked up by the Sharks. And away is Jesse Ramian. Gains a quick 20, and he's peaked towards the eastern touchline there by Cotter. He'll play it about 5 in from that far touchline. The Sharks lead 6-0 here at Shark Park. 13 gone first half. You're on ABC Sport. You're with Brett Sprague and Hallitau, Michael Carianis for the last game of round 22. We'll go back around the grounds in NRLW Magic Round very shortly. Adding Fonua-Blake stands in the tackle of Neem. 25 outs in the field. Brayley off to the right-hand side. Hines feeds it back here again to Ramian. Fends away Robson, tackled there by Edwards and also Neem, the front row combination for the North Queensland Cowboys. 20 outs in the field as Brayley goes to Trindle, a try scorer in the game so far, Talakai. Met solely there by Bateman, dragged back towards that 10-metre line though, so an advantage there for the Sharks. Second last play, Brayley darts away, shares it with Hines. The right-hand side, Kennedy saw a gap there at 6 more here for inside the 10. So a full set now for the Sharks. 8 out from that northern line, and now a penalty going their way anyway. So it'll be a full set here anyway. You count it for the Sharks, who lead 6-0.
Yeah, it's good footy the Sharks are playing at the moment. They're changing angles a lot, which in wet weather is what you want want to do. You want to get the defensive line moving as much as possible, try and get them wrong-footed on the uneasy ground, I should say, which is, the Sharks do this in their regular dry weather footy, but they're doing it to great effect tonight. They get the penalty here. They'll go for 2 points. Just trying to force the issue, I think, was Jeremiah Nanai come up with the leg pull as they try to regain a bit of momentum.
And so the Sharks have had 63% possession in the game so far.
And they've looked really, as Alan said, they've looked really good with the ball. They've completely dominated the North Queensland Cowboys, who are just well off the pace at the moment with essentially their season on the line. But the Sharks trying to cement themselves in that top 8 have come out and started really fast.
I'll take the 2 here, the Sharks. So Nico Hines will be 13 metres out and 20 in from the eastern side. 1-from-1 conversions so far off the back of the Braden Trindle try in the 3rd minute. And here is Nico Hines on the approach, and he sends it over the black dot. It's the Sharks 8, Cowboys 0. Earlier, West Tigers 28, the Bulldogs 14. Let's head back around the grounds. NRLW Magic round the Hunter Stadium. Bridget Murphy.
6.5 minutes left in this first half. The Parramatta Eels lead the St George Illawarra Dragons 2-0. That was a penalty goal taken after Dragons halfback Racine McGregor was sent to the sin bin for a hip drop, and she's got 2 minutes left on her ticket before she's back.
Thanks, Bridge. Earlier, the Warriors beat the Cowboys 12-6, and most recently Newcastle 18 beat Canberra 0 in those Sunday games at Magic round there. 15 going first half on the SMS. Listen to a great call, a crystal clear call from the gorgeous Dolomites in northeastern Italy. Go the Sharks, says Lou Martini. I'll get to some of your longer texts shortly here as well. Michael and Catherine Hill Bay, all to listen up here. Thank you, Michael. Jake from Townsville hears us loud and clear to listen up as well. And I'll get to a few of your texts just as we get a bit, we get a moment. But it's a quick start to the game so far. Sharks have controlled things here. 8-0 is their lead. Teague Wilton is brought to ground here by Edwards, who played 8 short of halfway. Some sunshine peeking through here in the Shire as well. And the rain has stopped, I think. I'll get to MC shortly as over halfway here they go. The Sharks surrounded Fonua-Blake. Brayley from dummy half. A run. Now he shares it with his fullback Kennedy, who's slammed to the turf by Bateman. Now it's last play Shark 35 out. Trindle into the set. His kick goes down towards that northwestern corner. Drinkwater, the fullback, leaps up here and he's tackled by Teague Wilton. It'll be a penalty for offside. The obstruction was for the Cowboys. So they'll go the Sharks' way. Penalty count has now been 3-0 the Sharks' way, and the scoreline 8-0.
Yeah, it was an escort run by Robert Derby. He's sort of moving to his left, which is the line that Ronaldo Mulitalo was trying to get around to get towards Scott Drinkwater.
8-0 the scoreline here. 17 going first half on ABC Sport. Here is McInnes, who straightens his run toward the post, and the Sharks captain is tackled 14 metres out. Brayley across to the right-hand side. Hines on the inside for Oregon Kafusi. It's the one try he scored this year, the front rower. It's back in around 7 against the Newcastle Knights. Brayley to Hines, and now and Fonua-Blake to a big gap and scores left-hand side of the posts. Well, they shifted the ball right. Engineered the pass back at the left-hand side. Nico Hines to Adam Fonua-Blake. He scores his 5th try of the campaign, and the Sharks have their 2nd of the day. 12-0 kick to come. 17 going first half on ABC Sport. Dean Hallertau.
Yeah, well, MC's mentioned it, and I've mentioned it as well. Just the execution and the skill that the Sharks are showing at the moment. They've run a set play, and it's not one it's too hard to defend, I don't think. But the North Queensland Cowboys towards their edge, and the edge of their middle defenders are just clocked off. And he was drifting across field quite leisurely, I'd say. Nico Hines, he just picked out the big man there. Adam Fonua-Blake throws a nice pill, and he gets through a yawning gap, gets the ball down with the attention of Scott Drinkwater over the top.
And MC on the touchline.
Yeah, too easy that for the Cronulla Sharks. Nice bit of combination there between Nico Hines and Adam Fonua-Blake. But as Halle alluded to, they didn't throw much at him just then. It was just a really poor defensive read from John Bateman and Tom Dearden on this right-hand edge. Just really lackadaisical on their line. No line speed, no urgency, and then just got caught short.
All right, here's Nico Hines. 1 conversion, 1 penalty so far today. 15 metres out here and 22 in from the western side. Thank you, Missy, on the mount for your text as always. We're in the last game of round 22 here at Shark Park. Good start for the home side. Craig Fitzgibbon's man. Here is Hines. Slight angle left-hand side, no mistake. He's 3 from 3 with those 2 conversions and 1 penalty. Around the grounds, NRL NRLW Magic Round in Newcastle. Bridget Murphy.
Still 2-0 for Parramatta Eels leading the St George Illawarra Dragons. The muddy surface here at Hunter Stadium making some errors for both sides of the field. A lot of drop balls, knock-ons, and a lot of dirty jerseys here at Hunter Stadium. The mud really, really intensifying, Spriggy.
I can imagine, Bridge, and I'll tell you what, Dean Mulitalo, I've done some shocking games here weather-wise. I've done a few up there as well. The turf is much better there under Stadium, I will say. It does hold up much better, but yes. And when the rain comes into the commentary box window, you actually can't see or wipe it all down because it's sort of out in the open, if that makes sense. There's no roof protecting the com box window from the external rain. Anyway, not about
Makes sense, yes.
14-0 here, 19 gone, 21 left in the first half on ABC Sport. Here's Mulitalo for the Sharks, 25 out from that southern line. Played there to Brayley. Off here to Fonua-Blake, the game's most recent try scorer. And a good start here for the Sharks, who have controlled now 71% possession so far in the game. As Ref Adam G resets the markers here and Kennedy feeds the ball on the inside. McInnes almost coughs up the footy again, but recovers on the way down. Plays at 40 out from his own line. Brayley off to Kennedy. And there's a wall there featuring Cotter and also Edwards. Last play, Sharks on halfway. Brayley swings it left-hand side. Trindle running kick down towards the chest of Scott Drinkwater. Take it 10 out from his own line, northern end. And an angle run here. He's met there by Hines and also McInnes, 15 out from his own line at that north end of Shark Park. So the weather seems to be okay for now. We've had sort of more of a light drizzle or maybe a cessation of rain for the time being. 14-0 is the Sharks lead midway through this opening 40. On that left edge, they move the footy here. Nane tries to find a way through on Wilton and also Brayley, and he's tackled 35 out from his own line at that one end. Second last play here for the Cowboys. Griffin Neem angles his run there into McInnes and also Kafusi. Last play Cowboys, blindside right they come. Dearden thumps it downfield. Kennedy reaching for it, gets there on the full, and the Sharks fullback skips away from Bateman and now is swarmed on by Bateman and also Edwards, who'll play at 30 out 20 in from the western side. Sharks 14, Cowboys nearly on ABC Sport. 20 gone, 20 left in the first half.
Yeah, well, one thing for the Cowboys, they've given up this early lead. The Sharks have jumped away a little bit. It's really hard in tough conditions to try and peg them back and score points quickly. And even though the rain stopped, the conditions out in the field, the ball's still slippery. It's hard underfoot. The Cowboys got a lot of work to do.
And Fonua-Blake, who leads the comp for post-contact metres. There's a good gain from him as well as he got away from the Edwards tackle. And now Brayley off to Hines, to Ramian. Loose man Katoa on the edge, steps back infield, makes light work, and then he's still going. Laybut's chasing him. Katoa not quite there. Metre and a half shy in that northeastern corner of Shark Park. Play there for Brayley. Off to Hines. Up goes the crossfield bomb. Mulitalo competes in the air. In the legs of Wilton. Socked away by Trindle. And Talakai won't quite get there as it goes touch and goal on the western side. So, after all of that, not quite a try there for the Sharks, who lead 14-0, 19 left in the half.
Yeah, he just landed in a puddle off the edge of the northwestern side there. There's a huge puddle, which is always the case here at Shark Park. And Sifa Talakai, in an attempt to drag the ball back in, just goes swimming for his efforts.
Hands from Levine listening across the ditch. Thank you. Nice to hear from you. Dion, nice to hear from you as well. 0467920222. Here's Mali Bitungan. His first run, his first carry in the NRL. A great story. Born in Tanzania, moved to Queensland, moved to Australia at age 5. Finally got into footy late in school when his mate's team was short, so found he loved it and it loved him as well. And here is a run from Robson. 6 more for the ruck infringement. Meanwhile, Kafusi's down in back play. So when it comes on, comes on the right-hand side here for the Cowboys as Derby is tackled by Talakai. 12 out from that southern line. Cowboys here, deep in attack. Dearden swings it back to Drinkwater. And now Laybut takes on Ramian. Brought down though by he and Hines. 10 out left-hand side of the post. It's their best look in the game so far, the Cowboys, who trail 14-0. Dearden kicks into the in-goal area and Talakai is content to just knock it dead. And it will be a line drop out. Cronulla Sutherland. Repeat set, North Queensland. Sharks lead 14-0 here. 17 and a half left in this first half on ABC Sport. I'm on Carianis.
Yeah, Kafusi's made his way to the sideline there, Spriggy, but I think it's more of a... Yeah, he was down, but he got back to his feet, back into that defensive line. I think it's more of a normal interchange with Braden Hamlin early onto the field.
Okay, thank you, MC. As I mentioned, the Cowboys have made that change as well with Hess off and Bitungan into the action as well. and jersey number 14. He receives the footy here from Tom Dearden. Bittengarn takes it there into Hamlin Welle and also Brayley. 30 out, 20 in from the western side, nearest to us here at Shark Park. 17 left in the first half, and the home side leads 14-0. Here is Cotter. Ripped to the turf there by Ramian and also Hines. 25 out now from that southern line. Robson on here to Edwards. Dearden back on the inside now for Zach Labour. One of their 6 try scores against the Dragons last week in that win at home. Robson to Edwards. Bittengarn takes on Trendall and also McInnes, and he'll play it. 15 outs in the field here for the Cowboys. Couple of plays left. Robson off to Purdue, and now it's tipped wide out past the wing there of Braden Burns. Goes to retrieve it all the way back in to Drinkwater, who's 30 out from that southern line. Dearden back to his full. That was clever. Here to Bateman. Right hand side shift and tipped on, I think accidentally by the Cowboys. Made a loose ball of things. That was Zach Labour who couldn't quite hang on to it or tip it across effectively, and it's dived on by Derby, but I fancy it was knocked on forward, so it will be a Sharks ball or Sharks scrum feed. 20 out from that southern line. Cronulla Southern leads here 14-0. 16 left in this first half on ABC Sport. Earlier at Western Sydney Stadium, the Tigers 28 beat the Bulldogs 14. And Joyce says, what's the dirty Sharks get away with murder as they always do against the Cowboys? Always controversy in their games. Joy. Ooh, that's strong early on here. As I mentioned, they've got the wood over them recently. 7 of the past 8 they've won here at Shark Park. 17 of their last 21 games against the Cowboys overall. And of course, the player judged best of field receives the Paul Green medal. Sharks scrum 20 out. Swung to the right-hand side now for Sione Katoa. A delayed start to the year because of his shoulder issue. Now back here, middle part of the ground. 25 out from that southern line is where it's with Ramian. He's been busy on that right edge early. Played to Brayley. Here's Hamlin Welle. He gains a quick 9 metres. 31 out from his own line. Play to his dummy half in Brayley. Still 66% possession the Sharks' way and a 14-0 scoreline. 15 left in the half. Brayley off to McInnes. Charging there on a straightening run towards Bateman and also Neem and Robson. He'll play it now, metre short of halfway as Brayley goes to find Trendall. End of the set, his kick down towards Scott Drinkwater. Cowboys back on the attack once more, and Drinkwater is claimed 18 out from that northern end.
Yeah, the Sharks not do anything too spectacular at this time coming out of their own end. They get through to a kick, and now they just turn their attention to defence as you watch the Cowboys slowly making their way back behind the ball, and once again they're fairly one out. Their previous set's the best attacking set they've played, expansive, but they still come up with an error. That's just a roll ball.
Yes, there was no one there waiting. Well, he didn't play it properly, did he? Did Braden Burns, so that's going to be a penalty going against the Cowboys. Well, be a scrum feed for the Sharks, I beg your pardon, because of the incorrect play the ball there and MC on the touchline.
Yeah, their discipline has been so poor, the North Queensland Cowboys, and with the ball, without the ball, they've been terrible to start this game, and you get the sense that the Sharks will fancy themselves with some more points.
So Sharks scrum feed, as I mentioned, so I'll have a 25 outs on the field. Brayley swings it across the right-hand side. Ramian tackled there by Jackson Purdue. It was a try scorer, and he was sin bin last time these sides met Jackson Purdue back in round 2 in Townsville. 20 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Played by Katoa to Brayley. Now Hines inside to Hamlin Welle. He's bouncing off Griffin Neem. His fellow Kiwi international. Play it 10 metres out centre field. Brayley on the right-hand side. Trendall. And here's a big burst of speed from Britton Nickera up that right edge. And he's tackled 5 metres short of that northern line. Played to Brayley. Runs it across here to share it with Hines. And now Teague Wilton through the gap. Tackled desperately by Dearden. The footy's come loose. So a great tackle from Dearden, a try saver, which forced the Cronulla Sutherland error. And it will be a Cowboys ball here. They trail 14-0, 13 left in this first half on ABC Sport. Around the grounds, it's half-time in the NRLW Magic Round clash. The Eels and the Dragons, Bridget Murphy.
Yes, and the St George Illawarra Dragons, Spriggy, have peeled away. It's 6 points to 2 in favour of the Dragons. Margot Bella scoring a try 2 minutes before half-time. Racine McGregor getting on the field just after being sin-bin to nab the conversion. So the Dragons are ahead.
Thanks, Bridge. New South Wales Cup second half. North Sydney 26, Newcastle 12. AFL full-time. St Kilda has beaten North Melbourne. 78-69, and half-time in Geelong, the Cats 59 leads Port Adelaide 29. So that's what's happening elsewhere. Earlier at Western Sydney Stadium, Tigers 28, Bulldogs 14, a massive upset. Of course, there's been a few of those across this round. Cowboys on the attack. Robson finds Burton Gunn off to Dearden. Up the right-hand side he goes, and he's run around there by Braden Trindle. 40 out from that northern line. Bateman at dummy half now feeds it back on the inside to Harrison Edwards. Gains half a dozen. Put down by Talakai and Hamlin-Welle. A couple of big bodies in there. Last play, Cowboys. Dearden's kick just punted downfield for Will Kennedy. He chases it back with the flight. And Cronulla fullback now is tackled by Burton Gunn and also Griffin Neame, 17 out from that southern line. Cronulla Sutherland 14, North Queensland 0 here on ABC Sport. 11 and a half left in this first half. You're with Brett Sprigg, Dean Hallertau. Get to Michael Carianis on the touchline very shortly. Mulitalo was manhandled and the ball was raked away, and that will be a penalty going the Sharks' way. MC, down to you.
Yeah, we had about a 10-minute respite from the rain, but it's back, baby. It is bucketing down again as the Sharks just made their second change. I think Jesse Calhoun has come onto the field and Cam McInnes is the player off.
Okay, thank you, MC. 0467920222. We'll get to your text when I get a chance. But there's a lot of reaction to obviously the earlier game as well. Western Sydney Stadium. Some reaction here in the box as well from you, Dean Hallertau. The West Tigers got that win against the Kennedy Bankstown Bulldogs. Here they go on the attack with that man Cahoon, and he's tackled. Play goes on here. Hamlin-Welle offloads back to Blake Brayley. Run down from behind there by Zach Labutt. 35 out from the Cowboys line. Sharks on the attack with a 14-0 lead here at Shark Park. Across the right-hand side, Hines to Britton Nickera. And he runs straight across into Purdue. Now he'll play it. 22 out from that northern line. Swung back here for Hines. Inside ball, Calhoun, who will play at 20 out centre field. A couple of plays left in the set here for the Sharks with a 14-0 lead. Hines, first receiver. On here to Trindle. Looks here, Kennedy, tip back to Mulitalo in the corner, and he steps over Scott Drinkwater and goes in to score the try. Well, that was looking far too easy for Mulitalo, who said, thank you very much. A little hop over the fullback and scores a try deep in that northwestern corner of Shark Park. And the home side leads 18-0, kick to come.
Perfectly recreated there, Spriggy in the box, the little hop on the edge there from Mulitalo, but it's a real typical play from the Sharks, a shift to their left where they get their halves involved. Really nice service out of dummy half firstly onto their halfback and Nico Hines. He throws a sweep ball at the back to Braden Trindle, and then running deep on a double sweep is Will Kennedy, and he's got that ability for those passes that come from his halves just to tap it on or bat it on to his outside man. This time it's Mulitalo catches the ball, and yeah, I'm not sure what the play was from Scott Drinkwater. He comes up and he's probably got enough time to affect the tackle. He comes sliding in, and he recognised that Mulitalo just jumped straight over the top of him.
And MC on the touchline.
Yeah, it was a great play by Renato. Shaped to go inside. I think that's what fooled Scott Drinkwater, just wrong-footed him, because you would have thought he would have stepped inside given the wet conditions, but no, backed himself to go on the outside and finish off a nice try.
So we'll see Nico Hines here lining up the kick, 25 metres out, metre in from the western side. 0467920222. One text here just says, so the form teams are now Tigers, Saints, crap. Well, I don't know if it's their form teams, but it can just be that they had a win. That's good for those teams. Good for the comp, I suppose, as well. Not for the teams they beat, though. But, yes, thank you to that texter. Probably just summing up the disbelief that we have with those results, and the top two teams both getting beaten this weekend. Here's Nico Hines, who's 3 from 3 so far this afternoon. This is his toughest kick so far, but swings back in the breeze and goes through. He's now 4 from 4, including a penalty. And just like that, the Sharks are out to a 20-point-0 lead over the Cowboys. 8.5 left in this first half. Hey guys, Derek from Glebe right now. Who are the favourites to be the Premier for this season? I've got no idea. I think any of the 6 can win on the day. I reckon there's a concern, Shop, that there's a pretty weak bottom part of the 8. And it's great that the Roosters are back in contention and Manly and the Sharks, but I reckon realistically you're looking at what? Canberra, the Storm, the Bulldogs, and probably the Panthers who are coming.
Panthers are scary. I think every other team's going, oh no, the Panthers, here they go again.
Yeah. based on what, 5 straight grand finals and 4 straight premierships. Here they go at the kick-off. Mulitalo slides in. That ball just dropped in his lap. He had to sort of work to get there. But it sort of just dropped there in the end. He sort of slides in about 3 or 4 metres based on just this very wet surface. Bradley finds Talakai bursting up through centre field. Claimed there by Bateman and also Bittengarn. And now Mulitalo goes again. He's got all the white paint of the line markings over his back there covering his number. Here goes Hammond well like a wrecking ball through centre field. He had Robson hanging on for dear life and also Griffin Neen. Plays on halfway there for the Sharks as Quayle goes back to the right-hand side, adding Fonua-Blake. Tackled centre field, 40 out. Last play for the Sharks, a very quick set of 6 as Hines does kick down that right-hand side. 20 points to nil. Here's Cronulla's lead as we approach half-time. Drinkwater is brought down out there by Katoa in that northeastern corner. And now Braden Burns tries to just slingshot his way forward here for the Cowboys. 7.5 left in the opening 40. Sharks 20, Cowboys nil here on ABC Sport. You're with Brett Sprigg now. Look at Carianis, and that will be this come back.
Yeah, so he was out of position. He was in front of the play the ball, the previous play the ball derby, and then he gets the offload. So he's never on side, receives the ball, and we've seen a few of these over the last couple of weeks where there's like a mini line break upfield, but the player that receives it's out of play.
The other kick here now as well. They're weighing it in Granger. Heavy down to you.
Yep, that is right.
Okay.
Interesting decision there not to go for the 2 points. I know they're up by 20, but given these conditions and the fact that they've got the win, they probably fancy themselves a scoring again, given how lackluster the Cowboys have been, but I probably would have settled for the 2.
Here they go. Hines further to the outside here. Carries it a long way across that 10-metre line, and he's claimed 10 in from the eastern side by Braden Burns. We'll see Tom Hazelton into the game very shortly as well. As I said, first game since round 10. Here's Cahoon for the Sharks. Play it. Right-hand side of the upright. Quayle back to Hines. Further back here toward Jesse Ramian. He is brought down by Bittengarn. A good tackle. 8 metres out from that northern line. Quayle, good pick up off the deck here. He goes to find Kennedy. And the fullback is ankle tapped by Nane. Last play, Sharks. A few out from that northern line. It was played out there by the Cowboys, so it's going to be 6 more Cronulla. 12 out from that northern line. Quayle plays it there for Kennedy. On to Hamlin-Welle. And he's such a strong presence as he stepped into the Griffin Neem tackle, and also Edwards there as well. Played to Brayley. On to Hines. And now Hines with laid pass to Trindle. Talakai to Mulitalo. Receives it. Goes back on the inside this time and scores his second try in the space of 5 minutes. Sharks 24, Cowboys nil. This is just party time for the Sharks. We spoke about the tough conditions, but they're not finding it tough. They are just running rampant here. 24-0, 5.5 left before the break.
Again, their left-hand side, they get everyone involved. And it's simple stuff in terms of the structure. It's a sweep line, often to a sweep line, which most teams will practice defensively when they do their edge defence, but they're executing it really well. Hines, again onto Trindle. It's almost rinse and repeat. He gets a little short pass to Talakai, who shows a lot of strength to burst through the tackle attempt. Throws a one-hand offload outside to Mulitalo. He probably can score in the corner, but he steps back to improve the position and gives the Sharks another 4-pointer.
Mulitalo on the 29th and now 34th minute here at Shark Park, and the MC on the touchline.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't go for the 2 boys, but this has been outstanding work from the Cronulla Sharks. They've really identified this right-hand defensive edge of the North Queensland Cowboys. All at sea at the moment. Braden Trindle, Cecil Talakai, and Renato Mulitalo finishing it off nicely.
Well, there's probably a thought, Dean Hallertau, that in situations like these, the conditions are tough, just get all the points you can as soon as you can. And just let if the weather comes later on, it's even worse, and all of a sudden you've 24 points, make it 26-0 up shortly.
Their execution, but with the slipping ball has been superb.
24 out here is the kick from Nico Hines, and 7 minutes in from the western side, and he's 4 from 4 so far this afternoon. A wet and windy Shark Park, and again, same result. He's 5 from 5 now. He's having a great game off the kicking tee. And it's Cronulla Sutherland 26, the North Queensland Cowboys 0. Let's go around the grounds. NRLW Magic Round in Newcastle. Bridget Murphy.
2.5 minutes into this second half. Spriggy, the St George Illawarra Dragons leading the Parramatta Eels 6 points to 2.
Elsewhere in the New South Wales Cup, just gone full time at Bear Park. North Sydney Sydney have beaten the Knight 32 points to 18. In the AFL, half-time, Geelong 59, leads Port Adelaide 29. That was the half-time score earlier. So would have beat North Melbourne by a total of 9 points there. Relatively short kickoffers again, sliding in 20 out to his own line. This time it's Trendle. It was Mulitalo before in that previous set. And now here's Talakai, who drags 3 Cowboys with him up at the 30-metre line. Played to Brayley. There's Hazelton. Big cheer for the headband wearing Tom Hazelton. His first game since round 10, back from the collar injury. Played to Brayley. Left-hand side here, Calhoun dummies, and now he takes it into Bateman and also did. 7 short of halfway here at Shark Park. 3:40 left in this opening 40. Shark 26. Cowboys nil here on ABC Sport. Mulitalo scored 2 of those tries. He runs the footy here as well through centre field, taken by Edwards. Last play, Sharks 40 out from the Cowboys line. Brayley's in a great game so far. Trindle off a step, his kick up in the air, sets a task for Drinkwater. He launches, loses the footy, and it's down there for Talakai. The Sharks get a full set here, and Talakai storming over the line, not quite. He stopped 2 metres shy. Great chase and tackle it was down there by Zach Labour. Swinging across right-hand side, numbers there on the attack there for the Sharks. Hines kicked to the corner for Katoa, who couldn't quite finish off. It was a well-weighted pass from Nico Hines, a high ball through the air. Katoa couldn't quite in the one fell swoop bring it down and plant the ball for a try, but it was not for what I'm trying.
They're very ambitious there on early play. They get the repeat set, and then Nico Hines, as you said, he looks out to his right, pops it over the top with a nice kick, and unfortunately just outside the reach there of Katoa.
Sharks 26, Cowboys nil here on ABC Sport. And 2.5 left in this opening half. Earlier at Parramatta it was West Tigers 28. The Bulldogs 14. Luke Lewis giving 3 points, Adam Dewey, to Alex 12, 1 Terrell May. The ABC Player of the Year. Now Griffin Neame, the big tall Kiwi, carries the footy up at the 30-metre line here for the Cowboys. Stopped there by Hamlin Welle. Robson dummy half. Across now again to Harry Edwards. Just check the possession again. 68% ball in this first half so far, which again is backed up on the scoreline, 26-0. On the scoreboard for the Sharks. Robson throws a very untidy pass. It was low there for Drinkwater. Now Cotter pops it out basketball style there for Burns. Up that left-hand side he goes. Is there one last attempt here for the Cowboys? Minute 50 left in the opening 40. Hand of the air from referee Adam G. As the kick does come in that last play from Purdue. Kennedy passes himself under it. The rain gets a bit heavier here as well. And the Sharks will start a new set. 30 out, 20 in from the eastern side. It's fed back here again for Teague Wilton. Sharks, I keep saying, 26-0. A very impressive first half as they chase 4 straight wins. And now it's Katoa, plays a 40 out from his own line. Fed back to Hazelton. The cult hero gets a big cheer again, his second carry of the game. On the logo on this halfway western side of the ground. Very heavy rain here in the effects. Mike now Calhoun tackled in the 2-man tackle. Play at 5 inside Cowboys territory. Brayley fires it left here. Trindle's kick up in the air. Drinkwater again running after it. And he's coughed it up into Mulitalo. It was going to be cleaned out on the forwards. He had the foot on the line there.
Straddled it.
Drinkwater. So, yeah, he did. So, it will come back here for a Cowboys ball, which is lucky for them, I suppose. They trail 26-0, 45 seconds left in the half. MC, it's probably the heaviest it's been all day.
Yes, that's right, Spicky. It was good work there from Scott Drinkwater. It was good game awareness because it would have been a tough take in these conditions with Ronaldo inching closer, but good quarter, and he'll give his side just a small chance to try and find some points before this halftime break.
This is the Cowboys' 13th set of the half. That had just 34% possession, which again, as I say, is sort of backed up by a 26-0 scoreline. 20 seconds left here before half-time. 40 out, 20 in from the eastern side. As it's played here, Robson across the right-hand side, Dearden on a Drinkwater. Leaves it behind there for Zach Laybut. And he goes charging into Wilton, Hazelton, Brayley. 5 seconds left in the half. 25 out, he plays it now. Drinkwater across to Dearden. He's run down there by Calhoun. The footy's come loose. And that will be half-time. That is just a perfect end of a near-perfect first half for Craig Fitzgibbon's men. Very impressive in very tough conditions. 26-0, the Sharks lead here in Hallertau at Shark Park.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've just lost all my stats as I was looking for it, because that really is the story for the first half. You kept mentioning the weight of possession that the Sharks were able to enjoy throughout that 40 minutes, and they converted it to a lot of points on the scoreboard, 26 points. But in conditions like these, one thing you admire is when a team completes high. So not only did they have the weight of possession, but their completion rate was really high, up above 80%, and their set structures and their plays were executed really well. So that's something no doubt they'll go into half-time, and Craig Fitzgibbon will be really happy with it. But once again, it came from their spine players. Out of dummy half was Blake Brayley, bringing his players onto the ball, looking for his halves to play those set options. Nico Hines been really tidy, as has Braden Trindle. Their outside backs just polishing things off. So a really good half of football for the Sharks. The Cowboys, on the other hand, a bit to fix up defensively on their edges. We knew it was going to be tough for Nanai out on the left and the reconfiguration out there. But even on their right side, where you would think he'd be more experienced, just weren't able to shut things down for the Sharks.
The standing ovation from the fans here in the Western Stand as they come from the ground to Sharks. 26-0 thanks to tries to Braden Trindle after 3 minutes and Fonua-Blake after 16, and then back-to-back tries for Mulitalo in the 29th and 34th minute of the game. Nico Hines, 4 from 4 conversions plus the penalty as well. 26-0. Michael Carianis, how did you see it from down there, despite wiping water out of your eyes for most of that first half?
Yeah, it's been a really impressive opening 40 minutes from the Cronulla Sharks. No doubt about that. They were on from the moment they kicked off, and the work around the ruck from Blake Brayley with his forwards going forward is always a tough ask for a defensive lineup. And then Nico Hines has been outstanding. Braden Trindle's been really good as well. So they're on here, the Cronulla Sharks. On the flip side, North Queensland really, really poor. They'll have the breeze in the second half, but it's definitely not a 20-plus point breeze.
Yeah, one of the more lackluster first halves or any halves we've seen from any team this year. Thank you, MC. More from you as we wrap things up here in NRL round 22. The final game of the round earlier at Western Sydney Stadium. The Tigers 28 beat the Bulldogs 14. We'll get a wrap on all that later on with Andrew Moore and the team. In the meantime, the final game of NRLW Magic Round in Newcastle. Bridget Murphy, back to you.
The St George Illawarra Dragons, another try, spectacular try through Tyra Ekapati, their fullback, set up by Shanae Lendell through a beautiful little flick pass in the northwestern corner. So the Dragons lead the Eels 10 points to 2 with 26 minutes to go in the final game.
Okay, thank you, Bridget. Let's go to your text 0467920222. Tony from Mingara says GSB Sharks. Game set bingo. Love your calls always. Thank you, Tony. The game between the Titans and the Panthers should have been a draw, as it was unsportsmanlike for the Panthers trying to walk in front of the Titans kicker when he was going to kick for a goal. Yeah, this is the Jaden Campbell controversy. Not that it was Jaden Campbell's fault. Obviously, this whole thing with yesterday's game, we'll go through it later on. But the Titans had done what the Panthers and every New South Wales fan would have been up in arms. I bet you the Panthers won't get a final, lose their points. Rory discussing listener in Townsville. Thank you for your text. I think there's a bit of talk about that, obviously, since that happened around this time yesterday, Shop. So
it's going to be talking, no doubt. I think it's a bit presumptive to say nothing will happen. I think there's going to be some questions definitely asked.
Jeremy from Berrima says, still building the shed from 3 weeks ago, but now winning, and so did the Knights this weekend. Sure, it was a bye, but 2 points is 2 points. Great call as usual. Thank you, Jeremy. G'day, Spriggy Shop and MC. Anybody who picked the perfect round this weekend must be throwing a bent dart. Cheers again. Have a listen to Glenn. Razor in Can says, Graft needed, Cows missing. What a surprise. Disappointing season again. Thank you, Razor. And Nigel asked if Scott Drinkwater's ever made a one-on-one tackle. I think he has, just not today. He was well and truly beaten on a couple of times in that first half. 26. He definitely has. 26-0 the scoreline here. The Sharks lead the Cowboys. Right now, let's head to the ABC News.
News with Satya Weinstein. New South Wales police say due to potential crowd crush concerns, the Sydney Harbour Bridge will remain closed for longer than originally planned, so thousands of pro-Palestinian protesters can walk back across it into the city. Thousands of people have braved the wet weather to join the protest over the Sydney landmark, which was given the green light after the New South Wales Supreme Court threw out an attempt by police to stop it. Police say they were worried about the risk of a potential crowd crush at North Sydney Sydney train station due to the numbers, and so people can now turn around and walk back across the bridge into the CBD. Earlier, Greens Senator Marine Faruqi told protesters at the rally they're part of an unstoppable movement for justice.
And we cannot stop now. We've got to keep building this momentum because we don't want rhetoric or words or signatures or gestures. We want the harshest sanctions on Israel.
Hamas has reiterated that it won't lay down its arms until there is an independent Palestinian state. Ali Crew reports.
Hamas says it will not give up armed resistance unless a fully sovereign Palestinian state with Jerusalem as its capital is established. It follows reports that US President Donald Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff told the families of Israeli hostages that Hamas was ready to disarm. The Reuters news agency is reporting in a recording of the meeting, Mr. Witkoff can be heard saying, "We have a very, very good plan for the reconstruction of Gaza that effectively means the end of the war." Indirect negotiations between Hamas and Israel aimed at securing a 60-day ceasefire in Gaza collapsed last week.
The Northern Territory's Aboriginal Affairs Minister has acknowledged his government's tough-on-crime policies have led to an increase in youth incarceration. Steve Eddington has responded to questions at the Garma Festival in Arnhem Land about worsening incarceration rates in the NT and conditions inside police watchhouses. Mr. Eddington says his government's focus is turning to the rollout of youth boot camps as promised ahead of the last election.
We're about to invest in youth boot camps in Tennant Creek, Alice Springs and Darwin. This is work in progress at the moment when it comes to working with young people.
The union movement is calling on the federal government to make big changes to negative gearing and the capital gains tax ahead of the major productivity summit. The government previously shut down speculation it would make changes to the tax policies, but Secretary of the Australian Council of Trade Unions, Sally McInnes, says it's time for a rethink to help young Australians buy a home.
We've got to bite the bullet. Otherwise we're just saying, too bad, young people, you're not going to be able to ever own a home. It's going to continue to get worse unless the government's brave enough to do something about it. We are just abandoning those generations.
The Australian Maritime Safety Authority is calling for public assistance to help locate 2 people missing after their light aircraft bound for New South Wales failed to arrive. Meg Whitfield reports.
The aircraft departed from Georgetown Airport in Tasmania's north yesterday about 1:45 in the afternoon. The pilot and passenger, both Tasmanian residents, were en route to central western New South Wales. The alarm was raised by concerned family members after the plane failed to arrive as expected to Hillston Airport. The Australian Maritime Safety Authority and Tasmania Police are urging anyone in Georgetown or transiting the waters in northern Tasmania and Bass Strait or southern Victoria near Leongatha to keep a lookout for any signs of the aircraft or its occupants. The search is ongoing.
More than 10,000 homes are still without power across WA's southwest after heavy rain and damaging winds lashed the region. The State Emergency Service has responded to dozens of calls for help, mostly in the Rockingham and Mandurah areas south of Perth. A severe weather warning for damaging wind gusts of up to 100 kilometres per hour is in place for the state's southwest, from Jurien Bay down to Esperance, including Kalgoorlie and Perth. A small earthquake has rattled the New York area in the eastern United States. The U.S. Geological Survey says the tremor had a magnitude of 3.0. It struck in a New Jersey suburb less than 13 kilometers from Central Park at a depth of about 10 kilometers. And in the NRLW, the Warriors have secured their second win of the season, downing the Cowboys 12-6 in wet conditions at Hunter Stadium. The Cowboys scored first, but the Warriors hit back with a try and a penalty to lead 8-6 at the break. New Zealand went on to victory, breaking North Queensland's 2-match winning streak. You're up to date with ABC News. Get more news at any time. Download the ABC Listen app.
The summer of cricket has arrived early.
Lobs it straight down the ground for 6. He's on the pull shot. Boy, did he get that!
White ball cricket takes centre stage in the top end as Australia take on South Africa.
Shout for leg before finger goes on.
It all starts on Sunday, August 10.
Down the pitch, there we go. Bang!
Every ball live on the ABC Listen app. Just click on the cricket button.
ABC sports coverage of the 2025 NRL Premiership.
Coming back here towards the second row and Britton Nickera. Now Brayley from dummy half goes on the toe. There's a park there for Trendle, who can plant the footy and scores the first try of the game. Sharks 4, Cowboys 0. Kicks to come Cronulla. Brayley to Hines, and now and Fonua-Blake to a big gap and scores left-hand side of the posts. Well, they shifted the ball right. Engineered the pass back at the left-hand side. Nico Hines to Adam Fonua-Blake. He scores his 5th try of the campaign, and the Sharks have their 2nd of the day. 12-0 kick to come. A couple of plays left in the set here for the Sharks with a 14-0 lead. Hines, first receiver. On here to Trendle. Looks here, Kennedy, tip back to Mulitalo in the corner, and he steps over Scott three-quarter and goes in to score the try. Well, that was looking far too easy for Mulitalo, who said, thank you very much. A little hop over the fullback and scores a try deep in that northwestern corner of Shark Park. And the home side leads 18-0, kick to come. Played to Brayley. On to Hines. And now Hines with laid pass to Trendle. Talakai to Mulitalo. Receives it. Goes back on the inside this time and scores his 2nd try in the space of 5 minutes. Sharks 24, Cowboys 0. This is just party time for the Sharks. We spoke about the tough conditions, but they're not finding it tough. They are just running rampant here. 24-0, 5.5 left before the break.
ABC sports coverage of the 2025 NRL Premiership.
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And on the ABC Listen app.
And 26-0 is our halftime score here at Shark Park, the final game of NRL round 22. Earlier at Western Sydney Stadium, the Tigers 28, beat Canterbury 14, and that was Luke Lewis giving 3 points. Adam Dewey, the ABC Player of the Year, 2 to Alex 12, 1 to Terrell Major. Al Skelton scored 2 tries, and we'll head back to the NRLW match ground with Richard Murphy very, very shortly. 0467 920 222. You're with Brett Sprigg, Peter Hallertau, former Tiger and Bulldog, and Michael Carianis here as well. I was hoping we'd be mature about this shop. We could sort of defer the Jaden Campbell versus Penrith trainer chat later on. We've had a lot of texts about it, so I'll run through a few of these while we have some time. Where is it? Cameron from Glasshouse here. With regard to the Panthers trainer issue, wouldn't it be as simple as penalising it? The kicker takes their conversion attempt and then to take a second attempt from in front. Is it not also a penalty for the other non-play actions, such as using too many subs or having too many players on the field? I'm not sure what the answer is, and I don't believe it was too bad, but it was wrong and a distraction of the kicker, and something needs to be in place for these situations. I think that's the main thing from this shop, is as far as what does a penalty look like? What does a sanction look like as far as that sort of thing happening, which is quite rare.
Yeah, it is rare. I've seen it happen over the last couple of seasons on a few occasions, and it will be dealt with in review by those at the NRL that look at operational matters like this. But yeah, like dealing with it in match is something that probably it's outside my knowledge of if that has been thought of or spoken about. But it'll definitely be looked at, no doubt, post match by those at the NRL that deal with it.
Good evening, team. Friendly reminder to all those whining about the Panthers trainer from 2022, Penrith versus the Eels.
Yes.
Nathan was mid-kick when the Eels trainer ran in front. Nathan missed. We lost by 2 points. Eels trainer was fined $5,000 only. Campbell was not in the process of kicking a goal and had the chance to reset and make a successful conversion. You can only imagine the Panthers trainer will receive the same fines as Kim in Sydney. So again, not to speculate on these things, especially I know, Dean, you work very closely with these sorts of things as well in your day job. But yes, a lot of things will come out of that. But let's focus as well on some of the results that have happened across this weekend. I mentioned one earlier. The Dragons had a win yesterday, and the upsets, the nature of this season, which has been crazy. Yes, the top 8, it's sort of a top 8, 9, 10, I guess you could say, with Manly still hanging in there. And so a lot of those teams aren't in contention for the finals, but we've seen some great footy and some fantastic results to turn the whole thing on its head. So, and of course the top 4, which now the Warriors have lost 2 home games in a row. The Panthers are coming, and it's just crazy. This last sort of month or so of footy is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I can worry for the Warriors because they're a great team to watch. I love watching them play, and had hopes for them having a successful year, but they're on tilt a little bit at the moment. These recent losses, obviously Metcalf was a huge loss in terms of personnel, so they need to right the ship pretty quickly. But you're right, it's a bit mixed beyond that sort of 10 and 11, and sort of how it looks come September is going to be quite interesting.
Twice in the last month, the Penrith trainer has interfered in the game of footy. They should lose 2 points, and the trainers should not be allowed on the field again. These trainers cannot be allowed on the field with their heads so far. Oh, Mark, I can't read most of that text. I should have read the whole thing. It's hard when it's a bit longer.
I think everyone's made up the rest of it.
Anyway, so there's a lot of views on that, and we'll discuss that in our wrap-up coming up here. Second half underway here at Shark Park. Cronulla Southern leads 26-0 over the North Queensland Cowboys, and we'll head back around the ground to the NRLW very shortly as well. Referee takes the first hit up of this second half, plays it 15 out from his own line. Robson goes off the open side left here for Rob Derby. He scored just one try in his past 6 games of the PNG Kummel. So there's a few guys in form and a few guys not. As I mentioned, their form line hasn't been so bad. Of course, they won last start against the Dragons at home. In those 3 previous losses, they lost by 6 points or less in 2 of those games, Canterbury and Melbourne. So they've shown glimpses of the Cowboys, but they're nowhere here, trailing 26-0 at the half. Here goes Bateman to end the first set of this second half. Robson fires it right-hand side. Tom Dearden's kick up in the air. Will Kennedy takes it 20 out to his own line, northern end. And now Griffin Neem tackles him 30 out 20 and from the eastern side of the ground inside the first 60 seconds of this second half. They waste no time here, the Sharks. It's come back across Mulitalo to Katoa, and he's tackled there by Cotter. There's been question marks around him this year as well. Ruben Cotter, of course, who did play a role in that Queensland Origin campaign, but disappointing at club level perhaps this year, Ruben Cotter, for a good couple of years. Now Hazelton receives the ball from Brayley. He angles his run here over the 50-metre line. He's playing 35 out from his own line. Brayley back here again, this time to Jesse Colquhoun, who'll play at 40 outs in the field. Hand of the air from referee Adam G, signalling last play. Brayley across to Hines, and Nico kicks downfield here. It's allowed to bounce in front of Braden Burns. He had Nico closing down on him, but Burns does get the footy, takes on Brayley, takes on Hazelton, and he'll play at 35 out from his own line, southern end. 2 minutes played, second half here on ABC Sports. Still the Sharks 26, the Cowboys 0. As afternoon becomes night here in the Shire. Played by Nane to Robson. Off to the right-hand side here, Rob Derby. And 3 Sharks hit him strong in defence there. Hazelton. It's going to be 6 more here for Marcus Not Square. Adam G, the referee. And now it's come back to Kyle O'Donnell here for the North Queensland Cowboys. Off the bench, 40 outs in a field. Robson back to Edwards, and now Neem, who's met solidly on this occasion by Britton Nickera. Now played 35 out from that northern line. Dearden leaves it back on the inside there for the Cowboys, and now it's played again by O'Donnell. It's played 25 out now. Dearden back on the inside to Griffin Neem. Hazelton chased and tackled him. This will be second last play, 15 out now. Robson back to Edwards, and now he's wrapped up from behind by Nickera Hamlin-Welle. 7 metres out, left-hand side of the post. Purdue goes on the toe, and Cotter goes there to the dead ball line, but I fancy it was knocked over the dead ball line by the Sharks, so it will be a line dropout and a set restart coming up here for a repeat set, I beg your pardon, for the Cowboys. Got there in the end. 26-0 is the Sharks lead here. MC on the touchline, down to you.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably North Queensland's best set of the game to start this second half. They looked in control of the ball. They made some metres and a nice finish there.
So it'll be a short dropout taken by Braden Trindle. About 15 metres, batted back by Derby, but Brayley gets onto it here, so the Sharks will go on the attack, 20 out, 20 in from the eastern side. To their 26-0 half-time scoreline. Sifa Talakai takes on Braden Burns, and it will be here penalty for offside the Cowboys. So another penalty going the Sharks' way, which now, on my count, makes it 4-0 in the game. Make it 5-6-0 now, in fact, going the way of the Sharks here. 26-0 is the scoreline. Around the grounds, NRLW Magic Round in Newcastle. Bridget Murphy.
A try to Parramatta Eels prop LC Albert, bringing the score from up to Parramatta 6. St George still leading though, 10 points, kick to come. We've just got a Dragons player receiving some medical attention. so a delay to the conversion.
On your bridge, back to you shortly. 26-0 the scoreline here off the back of the Sharks penalty. Hazelton takes it toward halfway, 20 in from the eastern side. Whaley across now again, fed back from Colhoun on the inside to Hamlin Welle. And he'll play it there on the halfway stripe. Whaley off the deck one-handed. Shares it back to Colhoun, and he's again met solidly by O'Donnell. And also in there, Nene, 40 out, 20 in from the western side. The Sharks operating inside the North Queensland Cowboys half. Hamlin Welle angles his run here toward the 30-metre line, and he'll play it there for Brayley on this second last play. Hines to Hazelton, takes on O'Donnell and also Bateman. Last play, Sharks 25 out from North Queensland's line. Brayley goes blindside left. Trindle's kick up in the air, and Derby launches up there for the Cowboys. Who'll play it in that south eastern corner of the ground. It remains Cronulla Sutherland 26, North Queensland 0, and a penalty going the Cowboys' way in Allentown.
Yeah, I agree with MC. I think the Cowboys' last set attacking the Sharks line was their best, and they've backtracked through that attacking set, through that defensive set, but they're able to repel the Sharks, and they're playing a lot more positive and with more energy in the second half.
So, the Cowboys bring it back from that eastern touchline, and Robson from dummy half shares it with Did. Off here again through centre field to O'Donnell, and he makes a good close contact gain there, taking on Brayley and also Nickera. Come back to Griffin Name, 35 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Much better sets in this second half of the North Queensland Cowboys, but they are trailing 26-0. They're going to get another set restart here as well, the Cowboys. So Cotter, he's 25 out, 20 in from the western side. Robson back to Dearden. Little show and go there, shares it with Drinkwater. Back on the inside, Bateman goes bouncing off Cahoon. Cahoon tries again, stops him. And also in there, Hazelton and Kennedy play at 12 out right hand side of the post. Robson back here again now to Purdue. Feeds it across to O'Donnell, and he's put down there by Braden Hamlin Welle. 7 out left hand side of the post. Robson back to Edwards, runs it straight towards the post, and Cahoon makes the tackle again. He's 2.5 metres out now here, North Queensland. Robson from dummy half, a little kick, and Griffin Neame gets on the end of it, and the Cowboys get some reward for effort. They score the first try of the second half, and Griffin Neame scores his second try of the season. 26-4, kicks to come. Cowboys 7 going second half on ABC Sports in Hallertau.
Yeah, well, I guess the message from half-time was to come out with a lot of energy, play really positive football, and be patient. The first half, we mentioned how lopsided the stats were. Already the Cowboys have probably had the weight of possession to start this second half, and they get an opportunity attacking the Sharks line. Robson, really sharp play. We've seen this a few times in this game, trying just to poke the ball in behind the defensive line under wet conditions. Very hard to turn around and cover it up, but he does well to thread the ball through, and then Griffin Neame stays at it, gets down, grounds the ball, and earns his side their first 4-pointer for the evening.
Down MC on the touchline.
Yeah, we saw Blake Brayley lay on a try of similar ilk in the first half, and then the New South Wales number 9 return serve in the second half. Much better start to this second half for the North Queensland Cowboys. The wind behind their backs, and it's still quite significant in this second 40.
13 metres out from that northern line, 20 in from the eastern side. The Cowboys to make it 26 points to 6. Not the toughest of angles here as the kick goes over, and it is indeed 26-6 as the conversion has just been taken by Zach Labour. So there you go, 26-6. 9 minutes played second half here on ABC Sport. Round the grounds to the NRLW. Magic Band in Newcastle. Bridget Murphy.
Yes, Ricky, we have a break in play here. Eels forward Kennedy Cherrington is down after a bit of a head knock, getting some attention from some trainers there, and that is just not that long after Racine McGregor was walked from the field by medical staff for a similar issue. So Kennedy Cherrington going for an HIA. St George lead Parramatta 10 points to 8.
On your bridge, back to you shortly. 26-6 the score on here at Shark Park. The Cowboys are far better showing in this second half, but left themselves plenty of work to do from that 26-0 halftime scoreline. Now here they go, Rob Derby in that muddy part of that southern half of Shark Park. Tackled 20 out, 20 in from the eastern side. And he's a bit slow getting up as well. So their break in play, 0467 920 222. Everyone's giving their ideas of what should happen to the Panthers as far as that controversy yesterday. I'll get to more of those after the game if I can here. Just wondering if the Titans... Tom, I can't do it, so I can't do the research now. Sorry, Tom. 0467 920 222. 9 minutes played here in the second half. I get asked questions about whether people are related to other people, and just trying to call the game here. Around the grounds to the AFL third quarter. Geelong 110, leads Port Adelaide 37. A called Jack Martin kicked 4 goals in 3 minutes. Extraordinary. And there's I think a lightning delay in Perth where Fremantle is playing Carlton. So no score or no play there as yet. Lightning wreaking havoc in all parts of the country here. Meanwhile, this is concerning for Rob Derby, who's coming from the field, Michael Carianis.
He's limping from the field now straight off, and obviously that's going to force a rejig because they've already got Jeremiah Nanai playing at centre for the North Queensland Cowboys, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this makeshift backline already.
And there's a report there for Jesse Colhoun as well for what I'm assuming was a hip drop, or a suspected hip drop.
By the way, somebody did send us a text earlier from Cairns, or somewhere in North Queensland, saying that Sam Bacco has passed away. Now we've looked into this, and unfortunately we've found that the Raiders legend and also played for the Broncos, Sam Bacco. I know he was in intensive care only a couple of within the last couple of months. So the Queensland Australian representative as well, we've discovered he has in fact passed away. So our thoughts very much with his family and friends hearing about that news there of the great Sam Bacco. 26-6, here is the Cronulla-Sutherland Sharks lead. 9-goal in second half here on ABC Sport. Cowboys on the attack. Robson fires at left-hand side. Dearden on here to Harrison Edwards. There's a rolling maul through centre field here as he's wrapped up by 3 Sharks. Play at 5 inside Cronulla-Sutherland territory. It's come here to Jackson Purdue, and Nane feeds it back now to Griffin Neame. Try scorer in this second half. Griffin Neame, only try scorer for the Cowboys in the game so far. Play at 30 out, 20 in from the eastern side. And here is Jamal Shibasaki, just his second NRL game. Younger brother of Gemat, what a great year he's had, his big bro. But he played 1 game last year, Jamal Shibasaki, playing his second first grade appearance now. Cotter receives the ball now from Purdue, and he's 12 out, 20 in from the western side of Shark Park. 10 go in second half, as it's come from Robson to Purdue in the corner of the in-goal area, and Will Kennedy runs it dead. Was there any kind of interference there in the lead-up? No, it's going to be a line dropout and a repeat set coming up here for the Cowboys, who have closed the gap somewhat from 26-0 to 26-6 in the last few minutes.
Yeah, just a bit of jostling there with between Burns and Katara, and maybe Burns has a case with Jesse Ramey coming over the top and kind of leaning his frame into him, knocking him over, but in the end, Will Kennedy plays at the ball. I don't think he needed to. They'll have to drop out, the Cowboys go again.
So we'll see what the Sharks do here as Trindle again goes that short drop out. Travels 20 metres. Mulitalo competes through the air. Cowboys come with it though, as it's played down there by Labour. Drinkwater explodes away here. Takes on Talakai. He's ragged onto the turf by Big Sipper Talakai. Play at 9 metres out here. Cowboys with Bateman. Straightens his run toward the post. Tackled by Hazelton. Played now to Robson. Back here to Griffin Neame. And again pressing into that wall of defence there. He stands in the tackle of Cahoon and Kennedy. Play at 3 metres out now centre field. Robson looks right but goes left here himself. In fact, from dummy half he burrows his way there, but not quite. He's held up in goal. And I'll come back and play it 10 metres out from that northern line. 26-6 is the Sharks lead here. MC on the touchline.
Yeah, they look creative in the second half, don't they? The North Queensland Cowboys, they just look faster, and the Sharks are on the back foot a bit. They've got to try and defend this set out here now, the Cronulla Sharks.
Griffin Neame carries it to within a few metres of that northern line. Last play Cowboys now. Robson back to Purdue. Dearden to the right-hand side. Trindle is it's still going here. Bateman can come off the Sharks, so it's back here for Dearden for 6 more tackles. So a full set now for the Cowboys deep in that northeastern corner of Shark Park. They trail 26 points to 6. Comes back with Drinkwater. Inside ball, Shibasaki. Takes on Hazelton, also Brayley. And he'll play it 7 metres out, right-hand side of the post. Drinkwater across here from dummy. Robson, I beg your pardon. Off here to Purdue. Now Drinkwater on here to the wing of Burns. And Burns is tackled by Katoa. Come back open side right. Drinkwater. Hamlin Welle makes light work of Griffin Neem and brings him to ground. Neem will play it there for Robson, who again looks right but carries it himself here. Trying to burrow, but Nickera just slams him to the ground here as well. 2.5 metres shy of that northern line. Drinkwater across now to Purdue. Shares it with Dearden. Wilton drags him down. Bateman on that loose football now. Bateman steps back on the inside, takes on Kennedy, the fullback. The footy's come loose, and now it's been knocked on by Jackson Purdue and the Cowboys. So it remains Sharks 26, Cowboys 6, 13 going second half here on ABC Sport in Hallertau. And the Sharks at least withstand that last look from the Cowboys.
Yeah, again, the Cowboys are doing what they can. They're chasing points. They're getting plenty of looks at the Sharks down their end of the field. And John Bateman there, he almost had a free passage through some last-ditch defence by Will Kennedy. He gets the arms free to throw the offload. It was always going to be difficult to pick up, but Jackson Purdue can't get down low enough, has a bit of a fumble and takes the pressure off.
For another scrum feed, 26-6 their lead here at Shark Park. You're with Brett Squig in Hallertau, Michael Carrianis. And around the grounds to Bridget Murphy in Newcastle shortly as NRLW Magic Round winds down. Mulitalo will play at 17 out to his own line, all the end of Shark Park. And here is Daniel Atkinson. Going to play for the first time. Tackled 20 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Fed back on the inside now to Adam Fonua-Blake on play 3. Now 30 out from their own line here as Brayley goes across here to Kennedy. Gains half a dozen. Claimed there by Griffin, Neiman, also Robson. Brayley across here again on the last to Hines, who kicks for distance into the breeze here at Shark Park. It'll skip down towards the fullback Scott Drinkwater. He takes on Atkinson and tackled centre field, 30 out from that southern line. 26 points to 6 is Cronulla Sutherland's lead here at North Queensland. 14 gone, 26 left in the game. And now Braden Burns involved as well. The other winger, of course, we saw Rob Derby come from the field a short time ago, so more on that shortly. As, again, the Sharks defence holds up there on Ruben Cotter. Plays it now for Robson, 40 out. He goes himself from dummy half. Dragged to the turf by Atkinson and also Brayley. Metre short of the halfway. Played now again, Drinkwater dummy half. Dearden, a running kick. Trying to catch Kennedy napping. Just gets it down towards that northeastern corner of the ground and it bounces into the path of Kennedy, who was chasing it, but had to get it before it went over the touching goal area. And the Sharks will start a new set, 5 out from their own line at northern end. Here's the two-time try scorer in the first half, Mulitalo. Has it 7 out from that northern line. Been a much better second half from the Cowboys as Talakai just steamrolls Claire O'Donnell. He'll play it 10 out from his own line. The Sharks hemmed in here deep in their own end. And Teague Wilson is tackled 15 out from that goal line. So this is only a couple of plays left in the set. They're inside their own 20-metre line now as Cahoon on the second last, tackled 20 out. Now Brayley swings it across. Hines again just punts it deep downfield, as deep as he can anyway. It's taken by Burns, 40 out from his own line. So the Cowboys position well here. The momentum in this second half, and he's over halfway already here, Burns. Plays it now to Purdue. Dummy half off to Nane, and he gains a dozen. 37 out now from that northern line centre field. 17 gone in this second half on ABC Sport. 26 points to 6 is the Sharks' lead. Cowboys on the attack. Played by Labour to Robson. Back off here to Cohen Hess. And he rolls it back 25 out to Robson. On to Dearden. Inside ball now again to Jamal Shibasaki. And he's cut down there by Fonua-Blake. 12 out, right-hand side of the post. Last play, Cowboys. Robson across here to Edwards. And now Dearden. Off here to Nane. To the corner here for Burns. Steps in on Hines. Shrugs away. 1, 2. To the last here for the Cowboys. Purdue. He's 20 out. Has some ground to make up now. They shift it back to the right-hand side. As Drinkwater's kick comes off Wilton. Not pay it to the ref. And will come back. And MMG has deemed that it's going to be a changeover here for the Sharks. They'll get possession back here. They lead 26 points to 6. 17 gone in this second half on ABC Sport. Around the ground, NRLW Magic Round in Newcastle. Bridget Murphy.
90 seconds left in this match, and the Parramatta Eels have peeled away with the lead, 12 points to 10 over the St George Illawarra Dragons.
All right, back to you for a full-time score shortly, Murph, and then we're going to wrap as well of the day's action and the weekend's action, which was heavily beset yesterday by inclement weather. Hasn't been great across either day of the weekend, but we'll get more on NRLW round 5. Magic Round with Bridget Murphy in that post game up as well to get the full-time score shortly. It's come forward here for the Sharks as the pass came to Nickera. So that will give Raymond or Atkinson. Anyway, it was in that chain of passes, but it's going to be a Cowboys ball, 40 out from that northern line. The Sharks lead 26-6 down to MC on the touchline.
Yeah, it was Daniel Atkinson there just forcing that pass that was brought forward. And it's interesting, Craig Fitzgibbon hasn't liked what he's seen from his side to start this second half. He's made 3 changes in the space of a couple of minutes. Daniel Atkinson is one of those players that have come on, as well as Adam Fonua-Blake and Cam McInnes.
The scrum is 20 in from the western side as they shift it right across the right-hand side of the park here as Dearden feeds it back to O'Donnell. Now he's tackled, 35 out. Robson with a flat ball to Edwards and now fed on the inside to Jamal Shibasaki. 30 out middle of the park here, the Cowboys. 26 points to 6 as the Sharks lead. They get 6 more here for the ruck infringement. So Cohen Hess dives in there on Briley. Plays at 20 out. Robson back to his halfback and captain Dearden. Inside ball Shibasaki. And he's just wrapped up there by McInnes. 15 outs in the field now, Cowboys. Robson back now to Dearden. Out of Drinkwater. Shrugs away Atkinson. Put down by Adam Fonua-Blake, who play limiters out from that Sharks line. Robson back to Dearden now. Oh, he's absolutely nailed out there by by Trindle, I beg your pardon. And they're on that northeastern corner. They're not quite there, the Cowboys, as Dearden is wrapped up. This will be second last play. Slung across here to Purdue, and now Shibasaki is claimed by Atkinson. Whaley, last play, Cowboys, 6 outs in a field. Can they make it back-to-back tries in the game? Robson, back to Drinkwater. He went to kidney, and now it's picked up down there by the Sharks, and Trindle's away. They've got 4 Cowboys chasing him, and he's bent there on halfway by Tom Dearden. So there we go. Good game there on the overlap from Braden Trindle, but this will be 10 in the bin. Because in frustration, Dearden came in very hard. He's also cut open himself. Probably got some studs in his face or something. But that'll be professional foul and 10 in the bin for the Cowboys captain.
Yeah, he didn't leave him with much choice there. Dearden, he made a great chase. Obviously, it was a poor end of set from the Cowboys. Turnover, Braden Trindle runs away, and then he just lay on too long, waiting for his team to regather, get the defensive line set. And the amount of time it was taken is always going to be a professional foul.
Yeah, he was wrestling there with Braden Trindle to hold the play up, and that's why he'll sit for 10 here as Nico Hines finds touch on the eastern side, and the Sharks will go back on the advance from that far side of the ground. Penalty count 8-2 the Sharks way in this game. Scoreline 26-6 in the home side's favour as we approach the halfway mark of this second half. 20 gone, 20 left here at Shark Park. 26 points to 6 the Sharks lead. Adam Fonua-Blake pressing through to the good. This is their best set of the game, so the second half so far for the Sharks. 25 out, Brayley off to Kennedy, inside ball Raymond. Open paddock there for him to run through, but there's 3 Cowboys that stop eventually in the big puddle on that 10-metre line centre field. Played to Brayley. Flat ball Atkinson to Hines. On here to Wilton. Not quite the 2-man tackle. He stopped in there by Donald and also Bateman. Played it to Brayley, off to McInnes, and McInnes can fall over the line. Despite the oncoming traffic there of the Cowboys defence, it wasn't far enough to stop Cameron McInnes, and the Sharks get another try. Their first of the second half through their skipper, Cam McInnes, to make it 30 points to 6, kick to Cumbernauld Sutherland.
Yeah, well, the error all the way up the other end of the field on the kick on last play, which resulted in Braden Trindle running 50 metres downfield. They get the penalty, the sin bin goes against the Cowboys, so there's a lot of space space, particularly for Tom Dearden, who's one of their edge leaders as a half and also just one of their leaders in general. They look pretty fragile throughout that set, and then smart play by Blake Brayley, as we've seen throughout this game. He cuts back to the open side, hits a hard run in Cam McInnes, and loose defence around the middle. He's easily barging over.
And MC on the touchline.
Yeah, bad sign for North Queensland, because I feel it was the first time that Cronulla actually had the ball in North Queensland's half to start this second half. We're past the halfway point now, but they get one opportunity and they produce points. Again, Blake Brayley out of dummy half lays on another try.
We'll get a full-time score from Bridget Murphy at Under Stadium very shortly. Nico Hines, 15 out, 20 in from the eastern side. He's 5 from 5. 4 conversions, 1 penalty so far this afternoon. And his twilight fixture, now 18 and a half left in the game. Slight angle left-hand side of the field. His first attempt at the southern end of the ground, and the flags are up. Sharks 32, Cowboys 0. Round the grounds, NRLW Magic Round at full time there. Dragons Eels, Bridget Murphy.
Yes, just went full time. The Eels hold on to win 12 points to 10 over the St George Illawarra Dragons. A gritty win from the Parramatta girls to finish off Magic Round here in Newcastle.
Great stuff, Bridge. We'll get more from you in our post-game wrap-up, and indeed any interviews and stuff we can get as well as we wrap things up in the next hour or so. And close the book on NRLW for round 5 and NRL round 22. 0467920222. This is so disappointing, says one correspondent. You work a 50-hour week and want a relaxing barbecue beer and footy and have to watch this rubbish. And then goes on to, I hope, tongue-in-cheek, blame the host TV, the free-to-air broadcaster. I mean, they can't choose how the games play out. I will say one thing, having, covering the AFL as well, they actually float their fixture. It doesn't prevent the blowouts, even when they try and choose when to schedule the games. Of course, the NRL have theirs all locked away with all the rounds at the start of the season, but you can't prevent this. It's been a good game in parts of the Cowboys, but it's a very bad first half. And here go the Sharks on the attack through Atkinson. 40 out from his own line. Now it's last play from Oliver Sutherland. Brayley finds Hines, and he kicks him into the breeze. It's gone a full distance here. Bouncing end over Rand and over the southern dead ball line. So carried a fair way. It'll be a restart to 7-tackle set here for the Cowboys. 32 points to 6 is the Sharks lead here on ABC Sport in Mulitalo.
Yeah, you barely put any effort into that either. Nico Hines, it was just a sweet kick, and we've seen it carry through. Cowboys now chasing a pretty difficult lead with only 17 minutes to go, and their skipper in the bin, so they're going to have to try and find something through their other players that aren't as experienced.
So here you go, the Cowboys. And this is Caden Lars into the action. So debuted back in round 15 against the Dolphins. This is only his 6th first-grade game. Now, the veteran Cohen Hess. Here's a half dozen more now. Robson over halfway during quarter. He's collared there by Cam McInnes, game's most recent try scorer. The Cowboys pressing through centre field. Robson 35 out, 20 in from the eastern side. This is last play Cowboys. This one back here again to the boot of the fullback during quarter. Nane bats it back here, only in the path of Britton Nickera, and the Sharks get the football back. So no real vision there from Nane to sort of bat it back to who? Well, we didn't really quite know. So the Sharks are back on the attack here with Jesse Ramian, 30 out, 20 in from the western side. 16 left in the game here as Trindle swings it across to Mulitalo. 2 tries in the first half for the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. Tackled there by Labour. Play there for Trindle. Blindside left he goes here to his fullback Kennedy. Steps in on Labour. Shares it back now Mulitalo. Slips the tackle of Cotter. He runs around his teammate there, Kennedy. Well, that's okay. And he's up to halfway here, 10 in from the eastern side. Brayley's been busy this game throughout. Wilton gains about 8 more metres here. Last play Sharks. 42 out from the Cowboys line. As first receiver is McInnes. Back to Hines. High crossfield kick down here for Braden Burns, and they'll start a new set from that part of the ground. The Cowboys 25 out from that in front of the Monty Porter stand here at Shark Park. Quick work though, Purdue dummy half swings it across now for Nane. He's claimed 30 out from his own line. Purdue goes again for dummy half himself, and he gains a dozen in a straight line, but he was dragged down from behind there by Ramian. In fact, it was Nickera out there. Now 40 out from that northern line. Played by Labour to Robson. Off to Cohen Hess. And this will be last play. 30 out centre field now, Cowboys. Robson back to Purdue. Busy in this set. Feeds it to Cotter. They run the footy. And that'll be a changeover. 20 out, 20 in from the western side. Sharks back on the attack. 32 points to 6 is their lead. Carry-Arse on the touchline.
Yeah, they're about to make their 7th change, the Sharks, with just 14.5 minutes remaining. Daniel Atkinson, short stint. He's over. He's coming from the field, and Oregon Kafusi's back on.
So, 25 out from that northern end. 14 and a half left in the game. It's the points power of that first half, in which the Sharks were most impressive and led 26-0 at the half, but scored a try each. It's actually been the best conditions in the game so far this second half, with not as much rain, if any. Dummy half Trindle, flat ball there for Adam Fonua-Blake, onto Hines, on the right-hand side of the park now, and Ramian offloads here to the path at McInnes, and now hitting the ball at speed is Kafusi back in the action. 40 out, 20 in from the eastern side, now it's lost by McInnes. So it's just a simple error from the Sharks captain, which will give possession back to the North Queensland Cowboys via a scrum feed, 35 out from that southern line. Repeating, if you have just joined us, the NRLW full-time Eels 12, Dragons 10. Earlier today, Warriors 12, Cowboys 6, Knights 18, Raiders 0. And the NRL, it was a monumental upset at Western Sydney Stadium. Tigers 28, Bulldogs 14. Wrap up all that with Andrew Moore and the team in our post-game wrap-up here from Shark Park. For now, you're with Brett Sprigg in Hallertau, Michael Carrianis, Robson dummy half, 40 out from their own line here, the Cowboys. On to Ruben Cotter. And he's stopped there by Kafusi. 7 short of the halfway. Robson back to Caden Lars. The blonde hair, and he's tackled. It's inside Sharks territory. High there to Robson again. Back to Cohen Hetz, with Dave Uden that premiership year of 2015. 10 years ago now. Robson back near the Drinkwater, full-back. A couple of bites and make sure he hangs on to it. Now back to Bateman, backs his way into Kafusi. Last play Cowboys, 25 out from that northern line. And now running kick from Drinkwater. Down it goes towards Sione Katoa. In open space now the winger. He runs into Robson, and Kate Lars comes across and gets him. 15 out from that northern end. Sharks will start a new set from there.
Yeah, they're so effective, the back three for the Sharks, and well positioned. Was Katoa there. He gets the catch, but he makes important meters coming away from his goal line. Just gives the Sharks a little bit away. It's really flattened out this game in terms of the crowd involvement. It's been a quiet second half, obviously, for the Sharks, but the Cowboys aren't able to really mount a comeback of their own.
12 minutes left in this second half, and oversize Brayley, a good run here, and he's swung a full 360 there by O'Donnell, who played on halfway. So it was promising there, that little break from Blake Brayley. Now Hines gains 10 more himself. 40 out from the Cowboys line. Last play Sharks. Brayley across to Trindle. High ball in the air. And launching off the edge, Labour brings it down. Cowboys will go on the advance. But it's the Sharks who lead. 32 points to 6. 11 and a half left in this game here on ABC Sport. We go again here, the Cowboys. Purdue tackle, plays it now on the 30-metre line. Burns on the 40, tackled there by McInnes. Robson couldn't have lost the ball there into the path of the tackler in Teague Wilson, which will constitute a Cowboys error unless they can overturn this.
40 snagged it.
I thought he used the shoulders player's arm to try and retain possession. It hits him for a knock-on.
So we'll go to Ash Klein in the bunker.
It was a quiet challenge from Scott Drinkwater.
Been a quiet game from Ash Klein, by the way, as well.
Wasn't actually not forwards.
No, the double juggle. That's a lost ball.
Drinkwater needs to regain possession before it touches an. The ball now comes off the shoulder of Teague Wilson. The challenge is unsuccessful.
There you go. So the on-field call will stand there as it remains. Sharks 32, Cowboys 6. 11 left in the game. I'll carry on the touchline.
Yeah, 24 seconds left before Tom Dearden comes on, so probably 3 tackles or so the Sharks will have against 12 men.
Just confirmed you'll be done by 6. They're off at 6:30 tonight. Rob, thanks for your feedback. 0467 920 222. There's a few things. He's Qatar, great break here. But he's stopped 25 out. And they tackle low there by Drinkwater. Whaley, open side left here on to Jesse Ramian. 12 metres out now from that southern line. Opportunity here for the Sharks. Whaley, they get a set restart for the ruck infringement. McInnes hits and spins there. 10 out from that southern line. We'll play it now to Brayley. It's got to Nico Hines to Nickera, and Jackson Purdue gets in. 5 out from that southern line. Can the Sharks get one here? Brayley all the way across now to Fonua-Blake. And he retreats back on that right-hand side. Tackled there by Cotter, and also in there Caden Lars. 8 metres out centre field here for the Sharks. Whaley back across here to Trendle, and now Oregon Kafusi. And he's dragged down by 3 Cowboys out in that southeastern corner of the ground. 32 points to 6 as the Sharks lead here at Shark Park. Whaley, Trendle, and now Fonua-Blake is claimed. 3 metres out now from that southern line. Now it's last play for Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. Brayley, open side right now. Trendle to Hines. Back on the inside. Ramian darts back in, but Edwards gets him. That'll be a changeover. Cowboys will go back on the attack. Right on that southern goal line here in the Shire, and it's the Sharks who lead 32 points to 6 with 9.5 minutes left.
Yeah, signs of life in the Cowboys outfit, being able to turn away the Sharks, who were throwing plenty again at the Cowboys defence, moving side to side, dropping their big men off and really testing through the edges. There's a penalty here, will get the Cowboys out of their end. So there's still bits and pieces where they're competing hard, even though the game's well and truly gone.
So Tom Dearden finds touch on the western side. We head down to Michael Carianis.
Yeah, they're competing at the moment, North Queensland, far better than they did in that first half. They were diabolical in that first half. They've been better, particularly in patches in this second half. And but yeah, their season's done and dusted.
Penalty count 7-3 the Sharks' way. Ruck infringements have been 3-2 the Cowboys. In fact, 4-2 if you count the inside the 10. And of course, we saw Tom Dearden sin bin, so he's back out there. We know that now. He was sin bin for professional foul earlier in the second half. Purdue is tackled, 22 out from that northern line. Robson back across here to Drinkwater, and now Dearden. There he is on that right-hand side. That's some work through there for Labour, who slides after the ball. Mulitalo slides after him. Flat 25 out here, Cowboys. The Cowboys captain Dearden puts the high ball up there. It's come off Kennedy. Now Trendle sockers it over the dead ball line. But what happened in all of that? Adam G's just saying it's come firstly off the Cowboys. So it's off the Sharks. It'll be a Cowboys challenge anyway. Let's have a listen.
Okay, Sharks challenge, mate. I've got a knock on off Phil Kennedy, which goes forward into Braden in offside position. Accidental before it then goes dead.
Seemed to be that way.
Cowboys kick chase is onside. It's a contest for the ball. Just checking to see if there's any knock-on from Scott Drinkwater.
It's a contest at this stage, boys. Let it go through.
He gets his hands in between the arms. What I got to say?
There's no knock-on from Scott Drinkwater. The ball is then knocked forward from Will Kennedy into the head of Braden Trindle. And then the ball goes dead. The challenge is unsuccessful.
There you go. So both challenges unsuccessful for either side in this second half so far. And the scoreline remains Cronulla Sutherland 32 and North Queensland Cowboys 6. Just on your point, Rob is accusing us of ignoring the NRLW Magic Round. Not to get too defensive, Rob, but the games, the way it was scheduled this week, I think it's a bit, well, I won't say disgraceful, but the fact that we couldn't call games because they all clash with men's games, and that's our broadcast agreement to cover the men's games. As you would well know, Robson goes wide here from the scrum to Bateman, slips the tackle as he straightens his run toward the northern end here for the Cowboys. Tackled by Kafusi. Play to Robson. Open side left here, Dearden. Back to Harrison Edwards. He's tackled. 7 metres out centre field now for the North Queensland Cowboys. Robson comes back to the right now. Dearden on the inside. No, don't want to surrender here. 1 metres out from that line. The Sharks are defending. 7:45 left in the game. Robson back here is Purdue. Swings it back on the inside to Braden Burns. And he's tackled 6 metres out from that northern line. Robson back here. Dearden gets nailed there by Wilton. The footy comes loose. Bateman's thought, it's going to be 6 more for that Wilton contact. So it's going to be 6 more now for the Cowboys. 20 out, 20 in from the eastern side. And now Cohen Hess just with a barnstorming run into 3 Sharks defenders. And he's 8 metres out now from that northern line. Robson sets up from dummy half. No, Hess will play. He's a bit ginger here, Cohen Hess, but Robson goes to find Dearden. Right-hand side of the park. Drinkwater swings it back now for Braden Burns, his winger. Claimed there by Fonua-Blake and also Blake Brayley. That's a mouthful. He'll play it 7 metres out centre field. Robson comes to the left-hand side this time. It's been lost by Caden Lars into the path to Bill Kennedy. Sharks go back on the attack. Yeah, we'd love to have called more NRLW games across the weekend, Rob, but the scheduling of that Magic round didn't make it easy. If they had it later in the season, say when the men's finals are happening, there's more open spaces and fewer games to call, it would happen. But that's just the reality of it. And I think when it comes to women's sport coverage, the ABC is not your enemy. I think we've done pretty well so far and would have done more if we could have this weekend. Brayley across the right-hand side. Kennedy, 30 out from that northern line. Sharks are on the advance. Brayley off to the left-hand side. Hamlin Welle, he stands in the 2-man tackle. Robson comes in there and so too Caden Lars. He's 5 short of the halfway. Sharks lead 32 points to 6 here on their home deck. McInnes runs the footy here. He's 40 out from the Cowboys line. Brayley off here to the left-hand side. Trindle just punts it towards that southeastern corner of the ground. It sits up down there for Scott Drinkwater. Wilton gets in. He feeds it back to Laybutt. Laybutt too quick for Britton Nickera. Not so Hamlin Welle, who came front on and by sheer power stops him. So 15 out from that southern line. Nene here just pumps the legs here into the tackle of Jesse Ramian. 5.5 left in the game here at Shark Park on ABC Sports. Dearden, the left-hand side. Off here to Braden Burns. And now he's claimed 35 out, 10 in from the western side. Drinkwater off to Jackson Purdue. Edwards has been busy in the middle here for the Cowboys across both halves of the game. And he'll play it here 5 short of halfway. Robson on the second last. So Dearden has shifted across the right-hand side. It's had a pretty similar pattern these last few sets of both sides. Dearden with a flat ball here to the edge for Laybutt. And he stopped there, 35 out. It's last play Cowboys. 5 in from the eastern side in front of a pretty desolate-looking grandstand. It's been not the best turnout, not the best weather in this game, of course. Last play kick up in the air. Kennedy takes the high ball. Sharks go back on the attack. He's too quick for Bittengarn. And he's stopped there by Bateman on the outside there, and now the Sharks go back on the attack. 20 out from their own line. They lead 32 points to 6 with 4:40 left in Halifax.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Cowboys, they're just running out of ideas when they've got the ball in hand, and partly due in fact to the Sharks and their defensive efforts. They keep turning up in numbers. They're swarming and just really creating problems for the attack of the Cowboys.
So Hines across to the right-hand side as Cotter and also Nene take the ball carrier Ramian. Brayley across to Hines. There's a break there from Nickera, but not quite a clean look away towards Sione Katoa. It's a Sharks error. Possession back to the Cowboys here on the halfway line. It's 4 minutes and 10 seconds left. Michael Karianis, the Sharks who lead 32 points to 6.
Yeah, it's good vision there from Nico Hines and Blake Brayley going down that short side. It was definitely on. They stripped the Cowboys for numbers, but they just couldn't find that last pass to Katoa, because if they found it, he was away.
Now 3:50 left as the clock ticks down. Scrum feed will come here for the Cowboys. 5 metres in their own side of halfway and 20 in from the western side. To more of your text later on, 0467920222. This game ending quite quickly actually, so it won't be overtime for us, Dino. We'll be on till 6:30 anyway, wrapping up the full day. Including the West Tigers stunning upset over the Canberra Bankstown Bulldogs. Unbelievable. And of course NRLW round 5 Magic round, which finished up a short time ago as well. They come right-hand side of the field. Cowboys. Sharks chasing 4 straight wins. And here goes Edwards for North Queensland.
Hey, go now! Keep moving!
Tackled 40 out in centre field. Play down to Robson. Been tireless in this game, as has Dearden, despite the fact he sat for 10. And now back on the inside to Drinkwater. Rainian chase and tackle him 30 out and in from the western side. Nane, open side right now as it's with Jackson Purdue. We spoke to the boys last week on his 20th birthday pub crawl on ABC Sport. Back to Drinkwater, running kick now toward the corner here. It's with Braden Burns, who spins away from Kennedy and goes over to score the try. Well, he's been threatening in this game a few times, Braden Burns, and does score the try here to make it 32 points to 10. The kick to come, the North Queensland Cowboys with 2.5 left on the clock.
Yeah, well, once again, they play with a bit of speed through the ruck and are able to generate some momentum. It gives them a bit of time and space to put this kick in down the left-hand side, and Braden Burns does a good job to leap up and take it almost uncontested. As he hits the ground, he spins off his left foot. I think he almost thought that he had a little bit further to go over the try line, but Scott Drinkwater with a little nudge over the top put it in a really good position for him, and it's a good take. So some late consolation points here for the Cowboys.
In his second year at his third club, Braden Burns scores his third try of the season down to MC on the touchline.
Yeah, nice little play there from Scott Drinkwater, who was down momentarily just before that kick, getting a little bit of attention from the trainer, but shrugged that off to lay on the Cowboys' second try.
Laybut here, who's 1 from 1 so far this evening. As Dean Hallertau said, some consolation points here as he'll run up the kick 24 metres out and 5 metres in from the western side. Not far away from now man MC. Laybut, left foot kicker, and it goes over. 32 points to 12 as the Sharks have, they are assured they have been for quite some time of this fourth straight win. Minute 50 left on the clock. Round the grounds AFL, fourth quarter, Geelong 135, lead Port Adelaide 58, and in Perth, Fremantle 12, trailed Carlton 30 in the first quarter there. As I mentioned, we'll wrap up the NRL game earlier. West Tigers win over Canterbury. And the NRLW round 5 magic round, as well as your thoughts. Always welcome. Most of them 0467 920 222. You're with Brett Sprigg. Tina Hallertau, Bobby Kayas will join us as well for the post game and post round wrap up. Minute 45 left here as Brayley kicks off again. For the Sharks, 32 points to 12 is the scoreline. Labour 2 from 2, by the way, just in case you missed that. Tries in this second half to Griffin Neen and now Braden Burns. Cam McInnes scored for the Sharks in this second half earlier as well. Cowboys on the attack, getting up to play it now with O'Donnell. Plays it there for Robson. Back across here for Caden Lars. In his 6th first grade game, I mentioned it's Tom Leroy Lars. 35 out from that southern line. Back to Dearden. And now Drinkwater. Feeds it back here. Bateman makes a half break, but is collected there by Braden Trindle before he can get to halfway. Minute left in the game here at Shark Park. Dearden, first receiver. Left-hand side they go now. Cotter lost it out the back there towards Braden Burns, a try scorer. And he's set upon by Nico Hines and also Jesse Ramian, 35 out from the Cowboys line. Cotter at dummy half, off to his captain Dearden. High spiralling ball down toward the chest of Will Kennedy. It's a clean catch there for the Sharks fullback. As I said, it's been mostly dry this second half despite the torrential rain in the first half and muddy conditions here. Here's Kennedy still going over halfway. Slips past one, beats Dearden, takes on Drinkwater. He gets past Drinkwater as well. Drinkwater tries again, stops him. And he slowed Kennedy down there. Britton Garn came in. Play at 30 out here, the Sharks. 20 seconds left. There's time for one more for them. Talakai. Wrapped up by Edwards. He stands the tackle of Edwards, Lars and also Robson. 25 out to the field. 12 seconds left. Nico Hines. Back here to Kafusi, lost the football and it's picked up here by the Cowboys and Jackson Purdue, and that will be a surrender in these last few seconds. The Sharks win 32 points to 12. It's 4 straight victories for the first time in this season, and the Sharks consolidate for now their place in the NRL's top 8. 26-0 was the halftime score. It was most impressive and it set the whole day up. Dean Hallertau. The result was really assured from there, despite an improved showing from the Cowboys in the second half.
Yeah, you're spot on, Spriggy. That first half from the Sharks gave them the lead they need needed to go on and get the victory. And they were disappointing last week against the Rabbitohs up on the Central Coast, and they didn't play great football. It was admitted by their coach, Craig Fitzgibbon, and their first 40 tonight was a big turnaround in terms of the polish, the ball in hand, and the way they went about their business. Yeah, it teetered away in the second half. They didn't play as well and have as much joy, but the Cowboys had a bit more fight, and they actually won the second half in terms of the points. So that was a better effort from the Cowboys in that second half. But for them, it was a bit of a showing of what they've dished up for most of the year. Just really not in the contest for a great part of the match. And the Sharks in front of a tough crowd here at home, a crowd that turned up in awful conditions, get the job done and go 4 in a row, as you said.
Mulitalo scored 2 tries in the first half, along with Trindle and Fonua-Blake as well. Cam McInnes crossed in the second at the hour mark, and 5 tries to 2. Nico Hines, 5 conversions, 1 penalty. Griffin Neem and Braden Burns crossed for the Cowboys in that second half, and Zach Labour 2 from 2 as well. We'll get more stats as we go. Michael Karianis is just milling about. Had to chat to a couple of players to get our reaction from on field. The Sharks win the final game of round 22, 33 points to 12 here over the North Queensland Cowboys. Your text can keep coming, 0467920222. We'll recap the round in full here on this Sunday on ABC Sport. So the crowd headed the exits, as you said, Dean Hallitown. Wasn't the biggest turnout today, as you might expect, down to UMC.
Yeah, just the Sharks winning at Ronaldo, Mulitalo, Ronaldo. What about that first half, particularly from your side? You guys started fast and you had a bit of joy on the edge there.
Yeah, and obviously happy with the first half, but we want to be clinical. We can't let soft tries in at the end there on both halves. So we've got to be better there, and that's all I want to focus on, our defence. The points come after that.
What about that first half? What were the conditions like out there, particularly for the winger?
It's the best, mate. It's the best. That's why you play footy. As a kid, obviously from Auckland, you live and breathe it, so it's what rugby league's about, mate. Hopefully the junior leagues as well. The council opened it up and let them get in the mud, mate. Let them play some footy. That's what it's about. That's what footy's built around.
Where are you guys at the moment now? Big win for you guys in terms of your top 8 prospects, but as you said, the first half was good, but a few lapses in that second half.
Yeah, you just got to be mentally tough, mate, and we're still chasing that consistency, and I'm pretty sure the big baldy man, Fitzy, won't be happy with that second half, but that's what it's about, learning. We'll go into next week and we'll focus on what we got to do, and hopefully we play for 480 next week.
Good luck next week and enjoy the win.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Ronaldo Mulitalo there with Michael Carrier. What do they call him? A big baldy man.
Big baldy man, his coach was referring to.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. He's a big bald man, Jake Fitzgibbon.
Bit of a shout for the junior leagues for closing the grounds this weekend. My kids had all the sport cancelled, so Ronaldo having a crack.
All right, yeah. Wasn't so bad for him, was it? Scoring a couple of tries here in that first half. Down to you, Michael Karianis.
Yeah, I'm just with North Queensland hooker Reece Robson. Reece obviously probably just beaten to the punch early in that opening half.
Yeah, mate, obviously, discipline, we need to be better, but we didn't really get a chance, did we? So had all the ball and we just tackled the whole time. So whether it was just our discipline or whatever it was, they didn't really give us a chance early. So we had to fight our way back into the game, and I'm proud of the way the boys turned up in the second half. I think we won the second half, but you can't give a quality side like Cronulla that big a lead. They've got some big boys, and if they're not blowing and you don't make them tackle, then they're real hard to deal with in attack. So they're definitely too good for us tonight, and we need to get better and work on that at training and get better next week.
How difficult was that first half, running into that breeze and just not having any possession?
Yeah, obviously, we didn't really get a chance to worry about the breeze, mate. Every time they get a leg up out of their own end, so that's definitely disappointing, and we need to be better discipline-wise. Gave them too many legs out of their own end, so I guess, but the wind was a bit of a help, but we had some boys with some big boots, so I guess, and they did as well, so it didn't really probably give us that much advantage or disadvantage in the game. I think, it was our discipline that really let us down tonight.
How do you try and salvage something now with a handful of games left in the back end of the year?
Mate, you just come together as a team and, making sure you're just getting the little things right. And, it's obviously, now's the time to do or die. You need to get together or you don't. So, it's really gives us everything to play for now. So, definitely it's going to be a tough ride after tonight to even put our best foot forward to even get in the 8. So we need to make sure we do everything we can, win every game from now on, and fingers crossed about the other results go our way as well. So so it's going to be tough from now, but we'll do our best.
Good luck back in the year. Thanks for joining ABC Sport.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Reece Robson there with Noel Carianis, and I'll tell you what, MC, it's actually quite nice weather now. I was going to have some clemency and say, come back up here if it was raining. Maybe you get one more from the Sharks if we can, and there'll be a presentation for the Paul Green medalist as well. Maybe we'll just wait for that actually. Wait for the presentation here for the player judged best of field in the Sharks 32 points of 12 win over the North Queensland Cowboys. And we'll get some more reaction from downstairs here, off there in just over half an hour's time to recap NRL round 22 and NRLW round 5. While we wait for that presentation, Dean Hallertau, who are your 3 best players in the ABC Player of the Year? How does it look for you?
Yeah, well, I'm going to go for 3 points, Cam McInnes for the Sharks. I thought he was tireless when he was out there. Picked up a try as well, really hard line that he ran for that try, but 16 carries is enormous from the lock forward, 36 tackles, no misses, no ineffectives. He's just so tidy in everything he does. 2 points, I'm going to go to Mulitalo. He backed double, and every carry he brings back from his own end is super effective. And then for 1 point, I'm going their front rower, Fonua-Blake. Again, his output is massive every game that he plays. He got up to 170 running metres. He was a handful for the middle pack of the Cowboys, particularly in that first half, just laid a really good platform.
Okay, 3 McInnes, 2 Mulitalo, 1 to Fonua-Blake in the ABC Player of the Year as adjudged by Dean Hallertau. I'm surprised if one of those guys wasn't the Paul Green medalist here. Of course, honouring the former Shark and Cowboy, among other things. Obviously, he had a great career in both Queensland and New South Wales, and coached the Cowboys only a few years ago, Paul Green. The late Paul Green, and so these 2 clubs honour him, and we'll see who is deemed the official man of the match here at Shark Park. His family here, which is fantastic, standing alongside Craig Fitzgibbon, and players from both sides are still out there, and I think the coach will make the announcement himself, is he? So we'll see who it is who comes forward and receives the Paul Green medal here at the conclusion of this game between the Sharks and the Cowboys. And it is, in fact, Fonua-Blake who will receive the Paul Green medal here at Shark Park. So there you go. 32 points to 12. The Sharks winning here for a 4th straight occasion. That now means they've won 8 of their past 9 here at Shark Park against the Cowboys, and 12 wins now on the year. They dropped from 7th to 8th because of the Dolphins win back on Friday night, and there's a few things still happening beneath them with the Roosters and Manly and all that sort of stuff, but it's a very a big win in some ways for them, Shop, because of all that happening around that bottom part of the top 8.
Yeah, every win that they string together is super important for where the final rollout or the final 8 looks at the end of the year. And I think for the Sharks, it's about building momentum and some really consistent performances, which we heard from Ronaldo Mulitalo about that. It's going to be really important, particularly when they've bundled out of the finals, fairly regularly over the previous seasons. They want to get some consistency going, so that come September, they're playing their best footy and they're taking teams down as they work through the finals.
There's a team photo taking place there with the Green family, which is fantastic. His wife and children out there with the Sharks team. That's great to see, and as I say, the Sharks most impressive in that first half in particular here. The Cowboys now have lost 4 of their past 5. As I said, there have been glimpses in there, and they'll get the Eels. They'll be away to the Eels next week at the same time slot, Sunday 4 o'clock next week. Of course, the Sharks are away against the Dragons at Cogra. That's the 3 o'clock game on Saturday. So that's what's next to come for them. 0467920222 is the SMS number. Go Sharks from Sharky at Tweedheads, New South Wales. There's a few more here which are about different things. Jason says, for what it's worth, you're spot on regarding ABC and its support of women's sport, second to none. Thank you, Jason. We've lost to New South Wales. It's something we do pride ourselves on, but yes, the NRLW Magic Round timings this week were not ideal to balance out all of that. Shark City 2, Cowboys